So we had something big happen this week, and it was the Consumer Electronics Show. Talked about it last week, pretty much for the whole episode. And ladies and gentlemen, get a beer, get a snack, because this is going to be a long ride. Hey everyone, welcome to TechBuzzed, your raw and slightly inebriated look into the world of technology. I'm Nick Smock.
I'm Ryan Spletzer.
I'm Lucas Ritter.
We're here talking about CES. Just finished up today, or was it yesterday?
Yes, I don't know. Who cares?
Today, technically today, but I don't think anything really happened. So we're going to be talking about CES for the rest of this 6 hours. Have fun. But I think Lucas is going to take the reins and talk about the Surface Pro. We're all very excited about this. This is an exciting time here at CES.
Yay. Okay, so basically all I know... I feel dumb now, but... They talk about the Surface Pro a little bit. Microsoft let a bunch of people demo it, and generally, they said it's just a lot better than what the RT was when it came out. The screen's much better. Granted, they're kind of worried the battery life's going to be probably around 5 hours, is what I had read, which...
Only 5 hours.
What?
That doesn't bother me because, like, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to use this in a class. I don't have any 5-hour classes that I'm thinking of, and if I do, I will sit by a wall and plug it in.
Let me put it this way. I've never owned a laptop that's lasted longer than 5 hours.
Right,
ever.
exactly.
Okay,
So-
yeah. Well, all mine
Your
so
laptop
far,
could not have lasted 5 hours.
I have never owned a laptop. This is actually a laptop that has lasted the longest on a charge, and it was like 2 hours.
I was going to say 2 hours.
At, like, with everything dimmed and turned down, but
Yeah, but it still puts out like 80 degrees Celsius.
how do you think I keep my house warm?
That's a semen killer right there.
Yeah, it does. That's kind of my goal. But anyway,
It's a really expensive vasectomy.
how do you figure it's a really cheap vasectomy?
I guess it's more practical.
Yeah,
It's a cheap heating bill, too.
yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
Just put it under the covers and fall asleep.
Yeah.
I've done that before. You don't even realize.
Hey, my
The
rocket
power
fish charger,
supply?
my rocket
Yeah.
fish charger gets so hot. I just put it by my feet when I go to sleep and just like yeah, mine's a
Yeah.
little bit cooler than that, but
Warms up your bed.
But yeah, I just put it by my feet and I stay warm all night.
Your bed's going to catch on fire one of these days.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
No, but,
Insurance.
Anyway, back to the Surface Pro. What everybody's kind of been saying, and I have not had my hands on it, but it is looking more and more like something that I might just pre-order because
Totally.
I need a new laptop that actually lasts me and I can take around with me and doesn't die in an hour and a half.
And Windows 8.
In Windows 8 and touch features and everything. So I'm really excited for this. I just hit a key and I didn't want to. And I like because it's going to have an SD card slot. It'll be 64 gig or 128. Supports all your standard apps. It'll be running Intel's not new chips, but new S chips because it's the update on Ivy
Is
Bridge
it
that they showed off.
Clover?
No.
It's not Cloverfield.
It's still
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield.
Is that
Oh,
That's
no.
what it's called, right?
Yeah, that was a movie. But you're
No,
thinking
it's
of Clover
Clover-
Trail.
Oh, Clover Trail.
yeah. Which is
No.
based off of the Oak
Well-
Trail chips, isn't it?
Clover Trail is after Oak Trail, but they label it as Atom.
Yeah.
But
What
yeah.
a terrible brand name association, by the way. Like, I would never brand anything Atom again.
I think
ever.
I don't even like Ivy Bridge.
I don't think Ivy Bridge is
It
that
doesn't
bad.
make sense.
It doesn't make
It's
sense.
a code name.
It doesn't make sense as the natural progression after seeing
But
Bridge.
okay, if it's a code name, then why are they using it as the name of the chips?
I don't
Like,
know.
like Windows 7's code name was Durango, but you never hear anyone go, "Did you get the new Windows Durango service pack?" No,
That's true, but it's yeah. But what would you rather have, a sandy bridge or an ivy bridge?
I'd
Like
rather
a
just have
bridge
a
covered
real.
in
How about a
ivy?
stable bridge?
I don't get it. But anyway, it's using the new ultra low voltage chips that Intel showed off at their CES conference, which really don't matter to any of us
Right.
because they're going to come out with Haswell in the spring anyway, and they'll be a lot better. But
I like that name.
yeah, that's their new chip design is Haswell. But this is completely off topic now. But
Whatever. What
Well,
else
no.
What
I
else
guess
is
it is.
new?
Well,
What
I'm
else is
sorry.
new?
Well, I guess I have one more thing to add. That 1920 by 1080 screen. Is
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
better than the RT, I believe.
The RT is just a 1366 by 768.
Yeah. See, that's gross to me.
yeah.
That's repulsive to me now.
I have that on my laptop, so
That's what I have on my
that on my
laptop
work
also,
laptop,
yeah.
and I can't deal with it. Like,
This
It
is
doesn't
like-
bother me because I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything better.
oh, okay.
I don't have a really nice iPad that has the
Yeah.
Retina display, or I don't know. I guess, but anyway,
Anyways,
it's
well, that's
supposedly a really nice screen,
Yeah.
and then also it's just how the main complaint with the RT device, the biggest complaint was it was a little bit slow, and there just weren't any apps. But when you get into a full Pro Windows 8 tablet, there's just so much
Yeah.
that you can do
Oh
with it.
yeah.
It's just
there's nothing you can't do with it.
exactly
right. It is a PC.
Well, I mean, there are some hardware limitations, like running an application like Photoshop or something might be a little laggy.
It'll be really
I-
slow, but you'll be able to.
But like, what I mean, what kind of processors in it? Or
It's-
excuse me, what kind of RAM is in it?
It's 4 or 8 gig.
You
it's
could probably
it's an x86 processor,
You
so it's
could-
got to be 4.
you-
Well, no,
yeah.
it's
No, it could be 8. It could be 8.
Oh, it could be 8?
You can run 8 gigs of RAM on x86, but it doesn't. It's the operating system isn't optimized for 8 gigs of RAM.
Got it.
It'll
So-
still use all 8 gigs, but 64-bit operating systems are optimized
They-
for more than 4 gigs of RAM.
Got it. Interesting. So, well, if it had 8 in it, that'd be incredible.
oh yeah, that'd be incredible. But to be honest, the reason you need all that RAM is when that you're running like 15 million
tons of
tabs in
things at the
Chrome,
same
which
time. You wouldn't be doing that on a
you won't be
Surface.
doing that on a Surface. I
Right.
don't feel. But either way, it's just nice to have all that functionality built in.
Now, my question is, okay, so you got the Surface Pro. Say you don't have your touch dock or key dock, whatever, in it. How are a lot of these applications going to function with?
It still has
Like-
an on-screen keyboard and
But
everything.
like, I understand that. But like, if you're running Chrome or something, or like Photoshop or something,
Oh,
like,
you're not.
How are those applications going to function otherwise?
Well, see,
they
well,
will, but poorly.
You know what I would just love is like, oh man, what's in Corel Draw? Oh my god, no, Corel Draw is a great application.
yeah.
I would love that if Microsoft made a nice stylus for Surface Pro. I would just.
It
Well,
comes
they
with a
have one.
stylus.
It comes with one.
Is it nice though?
Yes.
They-
Well,
so
I'd
I've
wait
heard.
I'd wait for Wacom to release one.
but
Fair enough. Well, the thing is, I actually wouldn't even want to use Photoshop without like some sort of touchpad or something. Really.
That's why
You know?
I kind of brings up. I don't know if you have anything else, but I kind of have a point to delve
kind
off
of, but
that.
keep going. Yeah.
Because I've been in the market for a Wacom tablet for the past couple of years, but I've been like, it's kind of been on the back burner,
Yeah.
and because I want to like buy a good one, like I want to spend $400 or $500 on one, and I would love now with the advent of Windows 8, I would love to see some sort of way that I could use multi-touch on this Wacom without having 5 pens
Yeah.
and like sitting there
Yeah.
with my hands like with pens in between my fingers. But like I would love to see some sort of like application or like some way that I could like use multi-touch with like my hand on my Wacom tablet that I can control Windows 8 with it, because that would instantly give me a reason to buy that and Windows 8.
Yeah.
Because I want, like I said last week, I want that touchpad. I want Microsoft to release a trackpad that has multi-touch support. But if I could get a Wacom tablet that had that support and was like a great Wacom tablet, you got me.
Yeah, but it's there was something else I was gonna say, but I don't even remember what it was now.
I just needed to run Lightroom. That's it.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be. Oh my god!
Think about
Oh my
it.
god, that would be
Think
awesome.
about it. When I'm on a trip, I have my DSLR with me and I'm taking lots of raw photos. I want to get those off and I want to get those into Lightroom right away. So I can organize them and just they go where they need to go. And
want to know the beautiful thing? All you have to do is look at the reviews for like an Intel HD 4000 equipped computer, and that's what it's running. It's running an i5 with Intel's top of the line graphics processor.
Right.
So, and that is a fairly decent, like, it's good in most of the ultrabooks you see. It's not going to run all these programs.
But like Lightroom,
fast,
but Lightroom isn't that intensive.
I don't know enough like about Photoshop. Lightroom, so I'm just
Lightroom. The biggest thing that it have to do is render the image to show up for the first time.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you're just basically adjusting like parameters after that with it.
And like it'll just be like rendering, like if you have it set to like live preview, it'll just be constantly rendering, but it's not like extensive. I have Lightroom on my laptop and it runs perfectly fine.
But like see that's my one use case. I want to go on vacation and offload pictures onto it right into Lightroom and get them there. And you actually reminded me of a point when you were telling me how like it has a i5 in it and everything, and
that's what's nice about it.
It made me realize like this is what I want a tablet to be defined as. You know what I mean? Like the fact that Apple was just the first with their iPad, like that's kind of sad because it's so limited. Like that definition of what a tablet is like a grid of icons with things that you pop in and out of. Like that's super limited and not what I want a tablet to be. Like I want a tablet to be a computer,
right?
In a certain form factor.
That's what a tablet should be.
Yeah, exactly. And that is part of the appeal of the Surface. So like at times when I want it to be a tablet and I want to use it as a tablet, it has that great interface. But when I need to get some serious stuff done or use Lightroom on vacation, I can pop on the keyboard and do whatever I need to do.
You wouldn't even need to pop on the keyboard.
Yeah. For Lightroom, probably not.
And you could use like ease of access, like Windows ease of access, and like use the magnifier, so you could maybe like fine tune like your exposure levels or your white balance or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you could use that ease of access, which is really easy on Windows tablets to like get into. It's like they probably wouldn't on the Windows 8 tablet, but there'd be an easy hotkey to hop into Windows ease of access and then use that zoom feature to get in and like fine tune your white balance and things like that.
Okay.
So you wouldn't even need the keyboard.
Right. As long as you could zoom in on parts of the screen.
Because ease of access does that. And it's such an underused feature in Windows because there's no reason you have a laptop. There's no reason you have arrow keys.
You have all the like dexterity and like fine like way of touching or like moving a slider or something that you don't need to zoom in on it on a laptop. But on a tablet, that's a great use case too. It's like, we have these apps that, were built for desktops and stuff, but something like that kind of helps the problem. It's like, I'm going to go over here, zoom in on my settings, change a slider, and then zoom back out real quick. Cool.
Okay. Well, I'm going to blaze through a couple more things because being the kind of guy that loves Windows 8 here, I've got a bunch of different tablets and actually 3 tablets and 3 laptops to kind of give a quick shout out to. There was Lenovo revealed the ThinkPad Helix. It's pretty interesting. Like what it is it's
a hybrid.
Yeah, it's a very good hybrid, and when you dock it with its keyboard, it's got I say legendary Lenovo keyboard, but legendary IBM keyboard.
Yeah.
And
the old ThinkPad keyboard.
It's very ThinkPad looking. It's your typical matte black. It has a 1920 by 1080 display. But when you dock it actually, they said overclock in the review, and that made me angry because it's not technically overclocking. Intel just it adds more cooling to the tablet, so it can speed up. It increases the speed of the processor and just gives the basically a laptop then more power, so you can do more things and just a lot quicker than what you can have with just a tablet without the amount of cooling that's included in the base. So that's one kind of neat thing about it. And it docks in many different ways, kind of like the Yoga, but it doesn't have the hinge on it like the Yoga. And
it's really interesting.
Yeah. And they're going after a premium market with it because its starting price is $1,500, but that's exactly what they're going after. It's 11.6 inch 1920 by 1080 tablet, laptop convertible, and it looks really cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't think I could ever really afford one at this point in time, but I think it just looks really nice, and I'm excited to see, maybe even get to play with one sometime. But my next thing on here that I saw at CES was Panasonic revealed a 20-inch 4K tablet.
What the hell are you supposed to do with that?
Design, dude. Design, engineering.
I want one now.
Yes. It runs Windows 8.
That was quick.
Yes. They didn't reveal what it was running for a processor, but it's Windows 8 Pro, so it's obviously probably an Intel chip of some kind. But
will it have HDMI out?
I can imagine.
I want a second monitor.
Right now, what they're using this as, you'd want HDMI in then, but
no.
So
I want out because I want a
else,
secondary monitor connected to it.
But yeah, it kind of exciting because like the engineer in me kind of was like, oh sweet, I could like have my CAD drawing on here, and you need that higher definition for just design style things. And Nick should be really excited. Ryan would be excited for all these. Yeah.
Kind of weird here, but where did you see that? Was that on The Verge?
It was on The Verge,
okay.
yeah. It was on The Verge. It was on Giz. It was on quite a few different sites.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I think so.
There was, like, Giz complained a little bit about lagginess, but I wouldn't be too surprised because when you're pushing 4 times the pixels of standard full HD, what do you expect?
Do they have a stand for it, do you know?
I think it was just more of a proof of concept at the moment, and they had it out and running. It was like a running prototype.
Because, see, I could see this. I could see a drafting table, putting that on a drafting table, but then, like, it would have to have a flat surface, and you could put a secondary monitor there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That would be pretty awesome.
And that's kind of what they were talking about using it for, is, like, you're working at it at, like, a table with a bunch of people, and you can pass it around and be able to, it's more mobile. But
I would just hoard it. I would hoard it.
Yeah,
myself.
I know you would. But with what you're doing, you could almost just have a desktop, basically.
I don't want like a drafting table so that I have it like at maybe 30-degree angle or something like that, and I can just feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
About that big. Just imagine
it's massive.
Just imagine me like passing you across the table.
Yeah.
Here, Nick, take a look.
Thank you.
No, it's big, but it's not necessarily built for. It's not a media consumption device. This is a professional working.
But
device.
what I would love to see if this does like come out is like a monitor stand for it that it would like fit into or something.
I can't imagine they wouldn't offer
like think about like how the
it.
iMac is formatted, and it has that large, like, it's not a bevel, but that large space at the bottom where a lot of their components are stored. Like, you would take it and it had like just the monitor stand was like the stand and then just that, and then you would slide the tablet like into it and it would dock and charge it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Samsung, cool. I know you're listening. Take notes.
And also, I was kind of surprised Panasonic revealed it. Like,
or Panasonic, excuse me. I was thinking Samsung.
But no, Samsung could do it too, but I was just, I don't know. I was just surprised to see Panasonic step
They
up
make
to
some
play
good
with
displays.
It. They do, yeah.
They make some good displays, but they just don't put themselves out enough.
Yeah, that's true. Ryan, were you just going to put something in there? Or?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Well, except that I agree that Samsung is perfectly capable of doing something like this.
I could definitely see them doing something like that.
And
especially like getting themselves more in the Windows market.
Yeah,
which they aren't really present in.
They don't care. Yeah. But that's another day. Next on my list here, I have the XPS 13. They updated it with new with touchscreens now. A lot of makers just kind of said, "Hey, we're going to put touchscreens and better screens on all of our laptops," which I'm happy with that because with Windows 8, like, you just, I don't know, it's easier if you just have that occasional ability to be able to touch a tile or move around like that. It just makes it a lot easier than having to use a mouse pad or a mouse.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you want to really take advantage of the tile UI.
It makes the experience a lot easier.
UI.
And if you have a bezel on it too, you can flick across from the sides to tops. Whatever.
Yeah, you lose all that.
Yeah.
If you don't have the touchscreen.
Well, you can still do it with your like a trackpad or a mouse, but it's not.
You can still expose like the side pull-out.
Oh yeah, yep.
Stuff.
I do it all the time.
Okay.
So they updated that because they added a full HD 1080p screen, which is awesome. Like, I'm seeing it on a lot more laptops at the CES, which makes me kind of excited because I'm sick of the resolution.
Yeah, I feel like 1080 needs to be like the baseline now.
Yeah, it should be
for everything. Well, the reason I get really excited for 1080 in the Surface and the what was the other 11-inch one?
The Vizio tablet, which we haven't
the Vizio,
yet. And then also the ThinkPad Helix is 1080. Yeah. Everything.
Well,
on
like
1080.
I know that 1080 in an 11-inch form factor is like a very nice.
Yeah.
Like,
that's got a good density. That's got a great density.
Does it have a great PPI?
No, it has a great PDI. PPI, yes, it has a good PPI.
And at least at 13, it has to be at 1080.
Oh,
at
yeah,
13.
definitely.
Like, and so I'm glad that's starting to become like a standard, you know.
Yep. And that's a recurring thing in my list here, but and then I'm just trying to blaze through these.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, but anyway, the Vizio, they updated all their laptops and desktops with touch, which I think the screens are optional on their desktops, but
they are, because I did see one in Best Buy the last time I was in there. Which I still hate you.
they haven't released them yet, so like they just started showing them off.
Okay, that would make sense then.
But basically, all they're doing is they're just upgrading with touch screens because. And with an all-in-one, I really like having the touchscreen on there.
I think it's
even
necessary
with like the HP Touch
I think it's necessary now.
As garbage as their software kind of was on there,
but it was Windows 7.
Yeah, it was but HP put just their skin over the top of it to make it somewhat touch friendly.
Yeah,
and it was kind of junky, but anyway, it was still it was a fun concept to play with, and it was something new.
But now it makes sense.
Yeah, now it makes a ton of sense.
I'm really excited. I think it's the 11.6 Vizio tablet.
Yes,
they're coming out with. I'm really excited for that because not only did it look great, I know with Vizio
it'll be affordable
and stock.
Yes,
like there's gonna be no junk that comes on it. And I'm sure all these manufacturers, it's kind of this happy fun story at CES, right? That HP might show off some weird laptop thing, whatever, with stock Windows 8 on it. But as soon as it actually gets to market, it's loaded up with junk.
Now, at CES as well, in the realm of Vizio tablets, is they also announced an Android tablet running Jelly Bean.
Yes, they did.
And it looked gorgeous. And I would go so far to say as it's probably almost the same exact tablet.
Yeah.
Running.
It's smaller, though.
Well,
yeah.
But it's
pretty much
essentially the same tablet, just running Android.
Yeah, which is cool.
And I'm excited for it because Vizio is a subsidiary of Sony.
No, they're not. They're their own private company.
Oh, they are now?
Yeah, they're based out of California.
Wait,
okay.
So they
were originally a subsidiary of Sony.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay. Huh.
And they are really great about making beautiful, affordable products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how many people do you know own a Vizio TV? I mean, those TVs are gorgeous. Those TVs are gorgeous, and they're great quality.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And
they're
they're cheap.
Their Ultrabook. Oh.
Yeah.
Their Ultrabook is beautiful.
And they updated the trackpad, and they switched the trackpad manufacturer, and supposedly they did some work with the keyboard.
And I've heard that it's better than before, which is good because
exactly.
It wasn't great before apparently.
Yep. And then so there was a tablet which Ryan kind of talked about.
And let me talk. Can I talk about my dream, or do you want to talk about the Edge real quick?
Let's hit the Edge, and then
I was just gonna say Razer.
I wanna say something quick. When is Razer gonna come out with a product called Occam? Like Occam's Razor.
Oh, but it's gotta happen.
Why hasn't that come out yet?
It's gotta
That's
happen.
it. Every time I see Razer come out with a new product, I'm like, why isn't it named Occam?
Occam's gonna happen. The bigger question is, what is Occam gonna be?
Occam is going to be. It's going to be a full PC. It's going to be Occam's Razor. Ooh. It's going to be a full-fledged PC.
Like
Alienware
like
PC.
What? Like laptop or desktop?
No, desktop.
Like tower or like all-in-one?
Tower.
Oh.
No monitor. Well, you could buy a monitor, but it's going to be extra.
Okay.
But it's going to be Occam's Razor. Or Razer
It'll
Occam.
just have like a sick Razer case.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, Okay, don't get me wrong. Like, Razer makes some really amazing looking products.
Yeah.
But they gotta get rid of the green and black. Like, it's
kind of
it's so old now. It's
Yeah,
such
it looks
old
really-
news. Like, I really liked when Razer used to be blue and black.
Yeah, that was
Or
a good,
just like maybe make Occam's Razor like dark silver and blue.
How about they do red and black and call it the Droid Occam Razor?
No. No. But Razer Edge, this looks pretty cool, but it's way overpriced.
I really don't know anything about it. I just saw it.
It is
a little bit about
awesome.
it.
So essentially, the Razer Edge is a gaming tablet. I can't tell you the size of it.
Yeah.
But
It's a Windows 8 gaming tablet,
It's Windows 8, and it comes with this dock, but it's not really a dock because it's like a gamepad. So there's like two, think PlayStation Move, or maybe like the Wii Nunchuck on both sides with your analog stick and some buttons, and then the tablet fits right into it. And then it's kind of like a wireframe around the tablet. So like the sticks aren't like right here. They're like offset by a few inches.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks gorgeous, but it's a Razer product, so it's like crazy overpriced.
It looks nice. Can I just say though that like things like this and like same with the Wii U's like tablet controller, with the way they have the sticks laid out and stuff, just don't look like comfortable for long periods of time.
Oh no.
Well, like I can't say whether they are or not. It's just that from the pictures and stuff, it looks like this would not be comfortable to hold. Like
For long
For a
periods
long
of time,
period
no
of time.
chance.
to me, the like really the best controller out there is the Xbox 360 controller in terms of comfort.
I agree.
Fit in your hand.
I agree as like a man. As a woman though, I think the PS3 controller is better. Smaller
Really?
hands. The Xbox is made for someone with big hands. Like
Okay.
I love the Xbox controller because I have
Women's
Matumbo hands
Oh,
here. I've got like Akimbe Matumbo hands, and I'm just like I hold a PS3 controller, and my thumbs are like
Yeah.
on the other analog stick.
I know exactly what you mean because
But-
I had like an extended session
Yeah.
of Dead Space the other day, which I'm playing on my PS3, and my hands started to like not feel so
Cramp
great
up, yeah.
after a long time. I was like, man, if I just had if I was playing this with an Xbox 360
Exactly.
controller, it
Exactly.
would be really nice.
But
My roommate has a controller for his PS3 that is kind of like an Xbox controller, and I use that every time over his PS3 controller.
That's just like the GameCube controller. It was I
yeah.
owned a GameCube when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and the controller was just like I was like pressured by the weight of it.
It was-
because I was a kid.
Yeah.
But like now I have a Wavebird for my Wii,
Yeah,
and like
it's
that's all I
perfect.
use
It's
because it's so
perfect.
big and bulky. And
Yeah.
I'm just like I just want to get that big bulky thing in my hands.
Not to mention,
I had to go there.
I-
I had to go there.
I think there was something to be said about like the genius of the GameCube's controller being that the second stick wasn't in the same place. Like
And
you
wasn't-
you had stick plus buttons,
And it wasn't necessary either.
yeah. For a lot of
In
games,
most
it wasn't.
cases.
Like even for James Bond, though, it still worked.
However, there were way too many buttons on that controller.
Yeah.
Way too many buttons.
it was kind of funky. There was like a Z button on one trigger above one trigger.
Yeah, there was like one bumper, and then like you had the two triggers, and then you had the C stick, and then you had the analog stick, then you had the D-pad, but then you had two buttons around the C stick, and then like two buttons on the left-hand side. It was just too much. But the Nintendo 64 controller, even worse.
Oh yeah.
In what way do you need three prongs coming off the controller?
That design made no sense.
And like the worst thing is it like the Nintendo 64 controller was not made for people who didn't play video games. Because I remember like just like one time I was playing Mario Kart and like my mom asked me like what I was doing, and I was like, "Oh, you should play with me." And she picked up the controller and she grabbed the outside prongs, and I was like, "Oh no!
Wait, no,
what
Mom.
are you doing?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Get away! Get away!"
Well, even when I remember I was young enough when I got a Nintendo 64 that I was bad at it at first. Like, because coming from a
unorthodox,
Super Nintendo
right.
where you just had a gamepad
That was
and
a perfect
buttons.
controller.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I
better
love
than
that.
the original Nintendo controller.
By
the Super
far.
Nintendo controller was the
Yeah.
perfect controller.
Yeah, I love that controller. But then going from that to an N64 controller, I just specifically remember playing Shadows of the Empire as like a 6-year-old. I'm just like, what the F is going on? I'm crashing my snowspeeder into the side of the mountain.
I have to rephrase.
I
have to redact my previous statement and say that the Sega Genesis had a better controller than the
Bean.
Yes, because it formed better to your hand because it had more of that arch to it, and so it was more comfortable because you're not holding with your hands like the Razer Edge. You're not holding with your hands completely parallel. They're like maybe forming a 110 degree angle, maybe 100 degree angle.
Yeah,
like that was the perfect controller.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys took that over.
That was a quick
Razer Edge, though. Here's the main problem with the Razer Edge. There are still flaws in this thing, and this thing has been in production for years.
No, it hasn't.
They demoed this thing at CES.
No, you're talking about the Razer. You're thinking of another thing. They had a Razer laptop that they came out with last year.
No. They had a tablet that they have been demoing for years. For like 2 years.
I want to see this.
Okay.
I don't believe you.
I know what laptop you're talking about.
Yeah.
But they had a gaming tablet that they were trying to release like 2 years ago, but there was no support for it because they didn't have an operating system for it.
Okay.
It was the Razer Blade.
But that was the
that was the laptop. That was the laptop.
Yeah.
But I want to say I'm gonna
you talk. Actually, I have a completely off-topic thing about our pre-show talking. How long until Snapchat comes out with a video?
Oh, good question.
It's already out on the iPhone. It's already out on the iPhone.
Oh, for the app, for the iPhone app.
Yeah.
Oh.
So boom.
I thought I had a brilliant idea.
All right, I would like to talk about my dream for a moment.
Okay, yes, let's talk about your dream, Ryan.
The reason I want
Switchblade. That's what it was.
There you go. The reason I want something like a Surface Pro or Vizio, like Windows 8 tablet that has some sort of keyboard that attaches to it, because I realize more and more, especially for work, I really could care less what form factor my computer is in. All I want to be able to do is hook it up to an external monitor when I need to.
Yep.
And like other than that, it just needs to be ultra portable, you know?
I'll be right
so
back,
I would. That's why the Vizio was so appealing to me, because it was not the Surface. It was like slightly larger.
Yep.
Just large enough where it's good enough to be used on its own as like a very viable laptop, and I know that I have the option of always plugging it into an external monitor and using it that way. So my dream is like basically I want to have a work laptop that is like the Vizio, where it's ultra portable and easy.
Yeah.
And just I can hook it up to a monitor whenever I need to.
You want everything.
I want everything. I want the world, and I want it now.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's that's I agree with you there, because that's what I'm really hoping for with the Surface Pro. Because did I say this on the actual program? How I'm probably gonna pre-order it unless.
Oh really?
Yes.
Now, one thing I didn't hear was pricing on that.
It starts at $899, and then you've got to buy the keyboard with it, which is gonna add probably another $100. So it's gonna be $1,000.
So it's automatically $1,000.
Pretty much.
For
yes.
It's baseline 64, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I mean, if I was getting one, I would automatically opt for the next size up.
I'm very much thinking about it too, because the next size up's the 128 gig, but I just need a laptop for this semester. And I'm already started, and I don't want to buy one of the laptops that are out right now that don't have a touchscreen, that cannot support everything that is in Windows 8.
Right.
And it's just kind of frustrating, because all these laptops are being showing off now, and they look great. Like everything that I talked about right here, they look awesome, but the Surface is the only thing that I know is going to be out before I'm like halfway through my semester. Yeah,
true. Yeah, everything else is still kind of a ways off.
Yeah, and
which shame on you, like third-party Microsoft hardware manufacturers. What, you knew this was coming? You had plenty of time.
It's hilarious because Lenovo actually said we did not expect this touch thing to be a big deal. That is why they only had they had two devices ready. One, they had the Yoga RT, which was an 11-inch Yoga.
Right.
And they had the Yoga 13, which was the Pro version. That is all they had for touchscreens, except for their old like ThinkPad line where it has like the swiveling screen that you can spin around and flip down. But
the traditional,
the very traditional tablet PC. But they just said we did not expect touch to be this big of a deal, which I. What?
Come on, guys.
Anyway, but
they knew this was coming for so long, and I'm just gonna like basically paraphrase Paul Thurrott, and it's just like he's said that this has happened every time with every Windows like release. Like the hardware manufacturers just lag behind in terms of being ready for it.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
But exactly. But
anyways.
What's our next topic here?
Our next topic is quote 4K TVs, and I feel like we're gonna dive in on this one for quite a while.
So 4K TVs are kind of like this big thing now at all the trade shows, but they still cost like $10,000.
Yeah,
and they don't really have a delivery system for them yet. But me, Lucas Ritter, doesn't give a something about that because I just want one as my computer monitor so I can have like 4 things running at once. Because I could have 4 full HD like things running at once on the same monitor.
I'll put it this way: being able to see an image on your TV and not being able to see like the pixels on it is a function of resolution, size, and distance. And for somebody that's watching a TV. When I watch a TV and a show on my 1080p like 42-inch screen, I don't see pixels happening really on it. Like especially when I'm watching like a Blu-ray, those just aren't apparent. So a 4K TV, I'm sure it looks super sharp and is incredible, but like are you only going to realize that like incredibleness of 4K if you buy like some honking like 55 or 65 inch TV, like because at that size, like at 42 inches, like are you really going to notice the difference?
I think you're going to notice
on a 42-inch TV. I don't think you will.
I have not. I really need to see a 4K TV.
Think about it. You're compressing such a high resolution in a smaller frame,
right,
or form factor. Like I could like what Ryan said, like on a bigger, like when you're getting in your high 50s, mid to high 50-inch TVs, yes, I could understand.
Yeah,
but when you're on like a low to mid 40-inch TV, the pixels are so compressed that you're not going to notice anything because the resolution is so high and the pixels are so compressed because of it. PPI.
No, but okay, let's talk about this here. Like, we talk about that, but then look at the freak out that was when Apple upgraded to a Retina display tablet. Like, granted, I know the distance thing is what I'm really having a hard time getting around my argument, but if I knew a way of quantizing or showing the difference
quantizing.
We talked about quantizing things in physics today and it was in my head. I wanted to use the word, but anyway, like I'm trying to think of like the distance to compare like how close you hold your tablet to how far away a TV is.
True.
But you notice a huge difference from like your standard run-of-the-mill 720 display versus a 1080 display on a tablet. Like that makes a big difference, and that's not that big of a change in pixel density. It is, but it isn't because you're going up
1.5 times.
Not 1.5 times. You're going up because you're going from 1280 by 720 up to 1920 by 1080. It's a little bit less than.
It's double. Less than 1.5. It's between like 1 1/3 and 1.5. Well, or
no. It's like 1 2/3.
Yeah, I guess you're. I guess you're right. Yeah.
Math. How does that work?
Yeah, I know. I'm not thinking it's Friday night, but yeah. So like,
wait, what is it? 19 what?
1920 by 1080 versus 1280 by 720.
It's a third. 720 over 1080 is 2/3.
Yeah.
So you're going up by a third.
It's 1.5. I told you.
No, it's not 1.5. It's a third.
1920 divided by 1280 is 1.5.
Yeah.
I just did it on my calculator. It's 1.5.
Hang on. It's 1.5. But 720
Well, right.
No.
Because there's a different aspect ratio. It's a different aspect ratio.
Yes, but 720 divided by 1080 is 2/3. Is 0.6, and in 1280 divided by 1920 is
another
also
problem, guys.
2/3.
We need to count the total number of pixels, not just the expansions on each side.
It's true, but if you
can get a rough estimate though.
If you're keeping the pixel density constant and you're thinking like in terms of like here's the 720 and then stretch this out and here's the 1080, that's like 720 is 2/3 of a 1080 screen, kind of
horizontally
and vertically.
Because your vertical resolution is different. It's a different aspect ratio though. You can't.
No, they're the same aspect ratio.
Yeah, they're 16:9.
Your aspect ratio doesn't change.
But then you have letterboxing.
No.
How though? Because your horizontal, your vertical resolution is 1.5, and your horizontal resolution is like 1 1/3.
No, it's the same.
But 1920 divided by 1280.
It's the
but
same
1920
proportion.
divided by 1280 is 1.5.
Okay, guys, I was
right.
crazy.
It is.
I was crazy far.
No, it is. I just did it myself too. I understand, but like, okay. Basically, all right.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
What I'm trying to say is, if you like think about here's my 1080,
sure,
and here's my 720, this is kind of like 2/3 of this.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like in terms of area.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying now.
But like, yeah, I agree with you. If you took like one dimension or the other, divided it by the smaller one, you would get 1.5.
So it's area. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, we're past that. That was ridiculous.
No, you. Oh, never mind. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, I think.
But are we kind of talking about delivery? Content?
Yeah.
We will. We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
I think what I was gonna say is, just to wrap up the kind of whole conversation, like. And we've said this on the podcast before. At a certain point, it doesn't matter. Like, you can throw pixels at a problem, and it doesn't matter.
It's not going to do anything.
And it's not going to do anything you're not going to notice. And the function of your TV is, like, if you're obviously if you're playing a 1080 whatever on your a 1080 like video program on your 1080p like television that's 42 inches and you walk up right close to it, you're going to see those pixels.
But you're going to see that on anything.
You're going to see it. Well, not if it's like a 19-inch 1080p.
I think you can still see them.
Not on 19-inch maybe. If you're really close.
If you're close, you'll still see them.
If you're super close. But what I'm trying to say is, for a TV, it's different because you are always going to be sitting a certain distance from it.
You're going to be 8 to 10 feet away.
Yeah.
But I just think that 4K is going to add a lot of crispness that we don't get to see. And also, it will make 3D actually, which I hate 3D as it's implemented right now. But on 4K, it's going to make 3D much better. I'm still out on the judgment on it. I hate 3D as it is right now. This is why I hate
4K is because everyone just wants 4K so that they can make 3D.
And
not necessarily.
Vlad Savov had a great post on The Verge, this CES, about you haven't heard anything about 3D.
Yeah, 3D kind of died.
3D, he said, I think the title of his post was 3D is dead.
I don't believe it.
I hope to God that's real because I don't want 3D anything.
I don't believe it because Red came out with brand new 3D cameras that are like 15 grand a pop.
Let me say something first. I don't want anything 3D in my home. Like, I don't care.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll go to the theater to have that experience
if I have to.
If I have to, if you insist. But I don't need to have 3D in my house. You know what's cool? What's more cool than 3D? There's this video from Microsoft Research where they basically were showing somebody playing a game, and there was also a peripheral attached to the console or PC or whatever they were playing.
I think I've seen this.
Where you're in a dark room and it would illuminate the room with like lights. Like think of like a disco ball that shoots light all over the room.
Yeah.
But this thing like shoots light over the room based on like your current like setting that you're in. So
Samsung has TVs that do that. Not like all over the room, but like around the television. They have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have like ambient lighting around the television. So you mount it on your wall,
Yes.
and you're playing a game, and then the light, it's like LEDs that adjust to what you're watching.
Okay. But they just adjust the color temperature and like light and stuff, right?
They adjust the color.
The color.
Yeah.
This is different. This is actually like projecting like imagine you're in like a game and you're in like a snowy area.
Talking about the
and there's
Xbox
snow
thing?
falling.
No.
It will like project snowflakes onto the walls
that's cool.
all over
Okay,
the
that's
room,
cool. That's
like
cool.
to show you. And say the wind starts blowing more, the snowflakes start going faster.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I have not seen
So-
the video.
Yes, it was demoed by Microsoft.
Yes,
Correct.
Yes, Microsoft's
They demoed
research
it was
video.
built off of their Kinect software because
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
using an advanced version of the Kinect and then a projector built in like really close to the TV actually.
Yeah.
See something like that. Yes, I want that in my
But
living
that's
room.
not 3D.
It's not
No,
3D.
but who cares? That's
yeah.
like
That's cool.
that's
better
so
than
much more
3D.
immersive.
You need to watch that video, by the way.
Yeah, if I can shut off my lights, have like something that projects like snowflakes on the walls that as I'm like going through a snow scene, or say I'm going through some sort of like you know the fire temple in Legend of
Yeah.
Zelda, and it's like
You know what I want?
and it's
You're
yeah.
playing the original Dead Space, right?
yes,
Playing the original Dead Space. You're on the ship. You're creeping around, working on your mission. And then all of a sudden, one of those creepy ass aliens pops out, and he's like, "Blah!"
Yeah.
And then like everything just starts flashing really brightly around my room.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to be scared to balls.
Yeah. Think of like if like there's an Alien video game. You know, at the end of Alien, Ripley's on the ship, it's about to blow up and stuff, and like there's lights flashing everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like
that around your room.
yeah, that around your room. Like, oh, that'd be so cool.
Or you're
And
just
much more-
watching like a live stream of a rave, and like
yeah.
they just emulate the rave lights.
To me, in my living room, that's much more immersive than 3D.
Junky
It
3D.
is,
Yeah.
Headache-inducing 3D.
Yeah.
Let's talk about content delivery.
Okay. Basically,
4K content delivery. I don't want it.
Well, here's the thing. We were talking about this the podcast before CES, and it's like 4K is dead in the water unless there's a way to get content to people. And what did we hear at CES? All these different companies offering different solutions for getting content to your 4K TV. And like it's so non-standardized and
Right.
just so purely
And
like special to each company.
That is my main problem with it. My second problem with it is most of their solutions are internet-based solutions, and no one's bandwidth is going to support 4K streaming.
Yeah. No, it won't
Never.
happen.
Unless you have fiber, which two cities in the world have Google Fiber? Because
I'm going to completely and utterly
Fios is
disagree with
dead.
you here.
In what way?
That it's going to be supported because you're going to have, if 4K becomes a standard, the companies will expand to that market. That's capitalism.
They will, but we need fiber before 4K becomes available.
And they will build it.
But the 4K content will happen before the fiber comes in.
That Blu-ray doesn't support 4K, but it has the room for
discs
4K.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about streaming.
Well, okay, you can't stream it.
But that's what we're moving to. We're moving.
Yes, we
we're moving
are,
away
but-
from physical media.
But
Okay.
Well, the thing is, what I'm saying is
Netflix won't be able to stream 4K until 90% or 80% of the people have the bandwidth to support it.
I guess that's part of my point is that all these companies are offering up their own proprietary ways of getting 4K
Which is
to you.
You worked in the past, right? Yeah.
So what?
right.
You don't want 4K because
No. I want 4K, but there has to be a standard before everyone is just like
A standard way of delivering it to you.
correct.
I wouldn't mind if every company had their own like kind of delivery thing, as long as it was all standardized, like though in the way it was delivered.
And then if it is streaming, you're gonna need people. You have to have support for it,
Yeah.
and we don't have support for it here in this area. No one in Michigan does have support.
You mean in
has
terms
support
of
for it.
bandwidth?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, there's Verizon Fiber in Saginaw. that supports up to 100 meg, which would support 4K.
Okay, so
streaming.
Wow.
Saginaw, Grand Rapids, and Detroit all have support for it.
Yes, but we're looking at the same thing as what like when LTE came out.
It's a different story though.
So what? We can't have 4K until we built this magic standard.
Essentially, yes. Because why would you? What's the point of releasing 4K if 90% of the people can't use it?
Go and buy a disc.
Well, I just feel like there needs to be a good old standards war, like HD DVD, a Blu-ray. Like
I don't consider that a good old standards war because HD DVD was junk.
You don't get 4K until you have them fight out and decide what is the best way of doing it.
That's our point. Is there has to be a standard before.
So what? You're just saying,
rush to
well,
release it.
F4K until we get the standards war over with.
Not necessarily, but like we were just saying, there was no standards war when it came to HD DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, there was.
there was.
I wouldn't consider that a standards war
I
because
would too.
everyone knew HD DVD was dead.
No, they didn't.
I didn't know that.
Microsoft came out and said, hey, we're supporting HD DVD. They just put a half-assed effort behind the Xbox 360.
That and how many HD DVD players were made by third party?
None.
None.
But
That's
that's
my
just
point.
because-
There was no standards war.
Yes, there was.
You had to have an Xbox with the $90 HD DVD player in order to play an HD DVD.
Okay.
There
You could
were
own-
HD DVD players out there.
You could buy a PS3 and have the Blu-ray support. You could buy a Sony Blu-ray player and have the Blu-ray support.
Maybe it wasn't a standards war. It was at least a standards fight.
A fight, a
like
battle.
a quick fight. Like we need two companies to come out and say, "Hey, we've got this solution," and another huge one to say, "Hey, we've got this."
You can't have Sony and Universal and I don't know what all these other companies having their own proprietary visions.
So,
for
funny
4K.
story. Have you ever heard of Ultraviolet? They have every single one of the studios right now. They signed Disney, Sony,
Everybody.
Universal.
So they're a standard.
They are the standard right now.
That's my point. But you're going to have companies like Netflix who want to distribute
Netflix won't want
4K. And you're going to have Hulu who wants to distribute 4K because they're putting their product.
They're not going to need a standard though because they're just streaming.
But the point is, you need to get a standard. Because you're going to have proprietary 4K formats, and your format for a 4K Blu-ray is going to be completely different than your 4K streaming format.
It's true. Let me put it this way.
They're going to be completely different formats.
Yes, they are, but if you're streaming, you're going to have that program downloaded on your computer, or you're going to be watching it in that browser through Netflix. It doesn't matter what their standard uses. It's not standard in between Netflix, Hulu.
That's expensive, but that's expensive on the production company's part.
Not for them, because then they get to lock it down and you have to use all their services. You're tied into their revenues.
If you have physical media with a different format than streaming media, that's expensive to convert that format over.
No, it's not, because you have a Blu-ray player. You have... Like, right now, you buy a Blu-ray movie, you have to have a Blu-ray player with Sony's Blu-ray support on it.
HD film is the same format as a Blu-ray. An HD movie that you stream on Netflix is the same format as a Blu-ray.
No, it's
How is
not.
it not? How is it not?
It's completely different.
No, it's encoded in DivX. It's a DivX
No,
encoded
it's not.
file.
iTunes uses MP4.
But
Sony uses their own codec so that you can't rip Blu-rays like you can
yes, you
DVDs.
can. Yeah, you can.
Bull.
It's so easy. It's an MKV format, which is DivX based. It's a compressed AVI, which is DivX based. Don't argue me on that.
I'm going to argue on this.
because seriously, Blu-ray is an MKV, a compressed.
Why
DivX,
does VLC not play Blu-ray?
Because it's an encoded MKV file. They don't have the support for it, but you can rip Blu-rays very easily.
Okay, so it's an encoded file. It's not standardized then.
It isn't. Yes, it is
Because
it's
you
MKV.
have to pay Sony for it.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. That is why you can't.
No, you don't.
That is why you cannot watch a Blu-ray on VLC.
Have you ever heard of a piece of software called Make MKV?
Yes, I have, but you cannot watch a Blu-ray on anything except for Sony licensed software.
All you have to do is rip it.
Okay,
So wait, so you're saying if I have a Blu-ray like player in my PC. I can't just fire up Windows Media Player.
No,
and just
it's not supported because.
However, you can rip the file because it's not the file. It's the disk. It's the physical disk.
What do you use to rip it?
Make MKV because it's an encoded DivX file.
See, I never realized how little support before, like, which is hilarious because like everything like plays a DVD. Like, you know, the previous like physical media before this, like Windows Media Player plays a DVD, VLC plays a DVD, anything will play a DVD. So like, why can everything not?
Because it's owned by Sony.
Yeah, but isn't DVD owned by somebody?
No.
Really? This is just
DVD.
It's an open standard, actually.
It's an open standard. Blu-ray is proprietary in terms of Sony, but Make MKV just rips the MKV file right off the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like your TS file, which is like allows for like your menus and things like that.
Right.
But
right.
Deep down, the video file is just an MKV file broken up into the different folders and subfolders.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's a compressed DivX file.
Right. And the different folders are for different chapters.
For menus and chapters and things like that. Yeah.
Right.
And they just compress them into like into a certain format. But Make MKV rips your Blu-ray and just pulls the video.
But it has to decrypt everything on it.
Because the physical disc has the encryption on it.
It has all the DRM because it is not just a standard.
But it's the disc, it's not the video file. The disc.
The same way you had to decrypt a DVD too.
Exactly. It's just the disc.
Like you have to
decrypt an iTunes video too.
iTunes has their own standard, and the only reason it's successful is because it's iTunes. It's because Apple is backing it.
iTunes can blow me. I'm never buying a video.
Exactly. No, but that's the point though. Is all the people who just use iTunes because they have an iPod or they have an iPhone will get movies from them because they have an iPod, they have an iPhone, they have an iPad.
I bought one movie. No. I didn't even buy a movie. I remember buying 500 Days of Summer on Blu-ray. It came with an iTunes like version of it. It's
I'm really surprised at that. I'm really surprised.
It was weird, but like I downloaded it. It was compressed.
That's because MP4.
They compressed the shit out of it, and like
that's because MP4 is such a highly compressed file format.
Like it was unwatchable. Like exactly. I really didn't even want even.
But look at you compared to the average Apple like aficionado who sits there and buys everything on iTunes.
Ugh, gross. Blech.
The only thing good about iTunes is AAC. Because AAC is the closest thing you're going to get to lossless audio.
That's true. It's really nice.
Besides a 320 kilobit per second MP3 file, which you can't get on CDs.
What are you talking about?
Like the uncompressed MP3. The closest thing you can get to lossless audio.
You can get that on on CDs.
CDs like commercially produced CDs are 320 kilobits per second.
Oh, I don't know what their bit rate is, but I know you can.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can, but I'm talking about like commercially. Like if you went out to the record store and bought a CD, I would assume that they're probably not 320 kilobit per second bit rate.
Oh no, they're at least that or higher. They're the best like quality you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Even better than 320, probably. Like if you rip a FLAC.
Oh god! Oh my god! I love FLAC.
Like FLAC is great. No, a FLAC file is usually greater than 320
because it's lossless audio. Yeah,
it's not much. I will agree. Like you'll maybe get
notice it on good quality speakers because it's lossless audio.
Exactly.
It is completely uncompressed.
But you're right. But I think it only gets up like 320 like kilobits per second. MP3 is the best like MP3, encoded like audio file. Right. Out there, yes.
Best compressed encoded audio.
But CD will still be better, like not by a ton, but like you'll maybe get 392 kilobits or 400. It's variable.
Yeah.
So,
but then you have like OGG and FLAC, and those are just like unbelievable because they're uncompressed. Because
it's basically FLAC is listening to the CD,
correct,
bit for bit.
Well, it's better than that because
it's better?
Yeah, because a CD is usually MP3 format.
Oh, okay.
So you have that compressed. It's essentially like watching an MKV as opposed to an AVI. But like if you have an HD AVI file that's uncompressed,
yeah,
and your FLAC is lossless audio. It's uncompressed audio, and MP3 is compressed.
No, but it's lossless from the CD. There's no way to get like a better quality from a lower quality on a CD.
No. What do you mean?
Like, if something is a lower quality file on a CD...
FLAC is higher bitrate than 320. It's higher bitrate than you can get on a CD.
It's whatever bitrate the CD is.
No. FLAC is uncompressed audio.
No. Okay, we're talking about two different things. Like, if I got a FLAC file from the internet that is
Correct.
like Yo-Yo Ma's like FLAC like recordings
right. That's what I'm saying.
From the studio.
When you
hang on.
Go ahead.
Studio quality is different than if I ripped a FLAC from the CD itself.
But when you produce a CD, that's a compressed file.
By its nature, it is compressed, but
because it has to be compressed to be put on the CD.
But that being said, it is still super high quality.
Yeah. It's great quality, but it's not your AUG or your like regular FLAC that you're getting straight from recording.
Not
like the
straight.
uncompressed.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I agree. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, straight from recording FLAC is like the best thing you could ever get. But
because when I don't buy a lot of physical CDs, but I'll buy like on a Bandcamp, I'll buy their like FLAC versions of their music, and it's just like.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What am I listening to right now?
Yeah, if you can skip that whole step where you actually have to rip a FLAC file from a CD and just get it straight from like the studio source,
how are we still talking about this?
Actually, I have a topic that is somewhat close to this that's not on our list, but Amazon is offering a free, like when you buy a physical CD, they are offering free their MP3 downloads, which their MP3s are supported in I think 268 kilobits per second.
256?
It's got to be 256.
256.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
256. For some reason, I thought they had a fairly high quality bit
256 is pretty
256, and it's probably.
I mean, if you listen to it in your car or like through like some Apple headphones, like that's the best you're gonna get.
But anyway, and they're doing it for new CDs you buy, and also CDs that you have purchased from them before, and they automatically put it up in your Amazon Cloud Drive.
That's pretty nice.
And it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you extra money because, like with Cloud Drive, they changed some things in the last year.
Yeah, I had read
where
about that.
you didn't have unlimited storage anymore, and where you have to pay for your own storage if you're like say putting up your own things up on their Cloud Drive. But now all those will be stored on there without you having to pay for that bandwidth or that storage. So kind of neat because I buy a lot of CDs. I just like having CDs. I like having the artwork. I just like CDs.
Yeah.
I'm old fashioned like that.
No, CDs are great, and believe it or not, my uncle who's like owns tons of vinyl records and stuff. I was like talking to him about like, yeah, vinyl's sweet. It sounds awesome. He's like, yeah, like, but believe it or not, you can actually get a better sound from CDs. And he said it has to do with the signal to noise ratio of vinyl records versus CDs. So like
that would make sense.
Believe it or not, like CDs do actually sound better than vinyl. So CDs are like, in terms of like going out and purchasing something, besides like getting straight from studio FLAC files, are the best like sounding things you can get. Yeah, I know we're gonna go long.
I was just wondering if you just put it in the chat.
Oh, the chat. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
But
on the show notes.
Let's. Can I say one more?
Yeah,
I want to say one more thing about 4K before we move on.
Sure.
I'm a guy who likes to get Blu-rays because I don't like to stream movies a lot because I just like if it's a movie I really care about.
Unless they're on Netflix, like I don't stream. Movies.
But like I have those certain really special movies that I want to see like in like glorious HD and uncompressed on a Blu-ray, and I like to buy Blu-rays for that reason. There's no like Blu-ray for 4K yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't
exist
yet. There's no physical Blu-ray.
But
they have the room.
It's the closest.
Fairly simple.
It's the closest thing that's going. It's the closest thing to 4K. Like when 4K is ready to come out, it's going to be on Blu-ray first.
Also, one more thing,
because dual layer Blu-ray. I mean, that's easy.
Yeah,
4K. We talked about that last week.
One more thing on with the 4K thing is most of these TVs, which is not going to be 4K, but they're doing a lot of work with upscaling, which I haven't seen it, so I don't know anything about it. It could look terrible.
That's worrisome.
But at the same time, just out of the box, I think that's going to help out with some of the... Because it'll look better than your regular 1080p unless they completely jack it up.
So Sony talked a lot about that.
Yes, Sony talked a lot about it, and I think...
About upscaling.
Yes, yeah.
And I will say... Of all the people that know how to do upscaling. Sony
Yeah.
is really great at it. Like, I remember watching the Lord of the Rings Blu-rays, not Blu-rays, the DVDs on my PS3 on like a HD TV, and I was like, whoa. These look pretty
really
good.
well.
Like they on
really
the PS3, it upscales DVDs very well. So if there's somebody out there that knows how to do it, it's definitely Sony. Like they know how to get that done.
I think that is something that they really had to work on with the PS3, since they were like introducing this new technology, like, because that's kind of when Blu-ray took fruition, is like during the PS3 era. And so they really had to like make sure that people could say, oh, I can throw my DVDs in here and they still look great. But then they go out and buy a Blu-ray and they're like, wow.
What? Yeah.
Like, this is what I need to get on.
Right.
And that is where the Xbox faltered.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm not even gonna get started.
I think we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
And I don't know about Lucas, but Ryan and I are about to talk about the craziest moment of CES, and that was, of all people, Qualcomm's keynote. Like,
Believe it or not.
mobile chipset provider. And they were just, oh boy, like
I thought we were gonna be disappointed because Samsung wasn't there.
we're gonna have a link. They had a buffet.
I'm stupid.
We're gonna have a link in the video of this, like the YouTube page, just to look at some of the pictures.
I was waiting for Mitt Romney to come out on stage.
Oh my
okay,
God.
And just kill Big Bird.
So they had a bunch of actors, and they were like talking about this whole like born mobile thing, and how our Generation M, is born mobile. Which, all right, they're starting out rocky start right there.
Yeah.
Born mobile, Generation M. Oh boy.
Kill me now.
Right? And then they decide to say that these are all the youthful mobile users, the gamer, the socialite, and the entrepreneur. And then, like, okay, the best one was like, the best tweet I saw was, every 15-year-old in America, my phone is my conference room. that was a quote from the CES keynote that Qualcomm had. And it was just like Generation M is just the most ridiculous thing ever.
Born mobile.
But then, like, out of the blue, we get the Balm Dog, Steve Ballmer, the man himself, running out on stage, running around the stage.
I love you, Steve Ballmer.
And yelling, per Steve Ballmer.
Can I say, since the last time I saw him at a thing, he looks quite old now.
He does.
Yeah.
You know what it is? He shaved his band.
Oh, he used to have the band.
He had the band, and he shaved it, and he looks old as hell now. He looks like a chemo patient.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He needs to keep the band. He needs that George Costanza to keep him youthful.
He kind of doesn't have eyebrows either.
He looks like a chemo patient.
Yeah.
Or like an alopecia patient.
He lost his eyebrows.
Maybe he does have alopecia. I don't know. He can't.
No.
But okay, so Ballmer's talking about how Windows Phone 8 and Qualcomm are going to go hand in hand, things like that. Cut to Guillermo del Toro's Blade 2 scenes. What? We've got the most vulgar scene in Blade 2. Qualcomm processor recorded this.
Check this out. Yeah, oh, yeah. Totally did. Because Blade 2 came back out, in like...
Oh, God, I don't even know.
No, this needs to be Googled right now.
I'll get it.
Blade 2, 2002.
Yeah, okay.
BS.
Right?
No. Blade 2 was filmed on film, and they recaptured it in 4K.
Exactly.
And then showed it at this Qualcomm keynote.
Best tweet about that part, though, was Guillermo del Toro demonstrates Qualcomm power by showing the hammer scene from Pan's Labyrinth. Okay, and then cut to a common theme in tech is the assumption that most things will end up somehow connected to the internet. Jacobs being the CEO of Qualcomm, apparently decided that the term for that is the Internet of Things. Cut to Big Bird.
Yes, Big Bird.
Big Bird showed up on stage.
I still don't understand what sort of thing was happening with Big Bird. Like, what Big Bird's words.
He was, like, demonstrating an application.
Like a phone
app. Qualcomm-powered application. Like, essentially, he was just demonstrating a phone app run on a Qualcomm phone.
So,
but then...
I'm Big Bird. I'm here. This phone runs a Qualcomm chip.
It was a Qualcomm app. Like, it was like a
developed by
Qualcomm. Because immediately after, a Qualcomm developer showed up as the Bird Keeter.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
And he was wearing this creepy Big Bird outfit. And Josh Topolsky, is this keynote trying to convince me that I've made bad life decisions?
Yeah.
And to top it all off, who's that? Archbishop Desmond Tutu Skypes in? What? So we go from Big Bird to Desmond Tutu. Like, I don't understand it.
Specifically, talking about M Health, which what business does Qualcomm? I don't
get it.
I don't even get it. I don't even understand. I probably would never understand.
J Top's coming in with another quality tweet. Desmond Tutu just put CM10 on his 1X. Good one. And then they showed a Star Trek trailer.
Oh, this was probably the most awkward part
with Alice Eve, who was an actress in the new Star Trek movie.
This was really awkward.
And like I think like the picture that The Verge posted, which will be in the link in the video, in the YouTube video, it really just sums up that whole interaction between the two of them.
Is that the one where she's kind of just staring at the prompter with one eyebrow raised?
And her eyes look different colors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look at her right eye looks green and her left eye looks blue.
I think that's just the shadow.
Well, it is, but they look different colors.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just so weird.
Yeah. And
then a Rolls Royce came out.
Yep.
In what looks like to be driven by Quentin Tarantino, but it's not. And then Maroon 5 came out.
Which, if you watch the stream video of it, they didn't have the rights to Maroon 5's song.
Yeah.
To play on the stream.
So they had to what did they do?
They overdubbed some those just generic copyright free.
Yeah.
There's some generic copyright free song that they just put over Maroon 5.
So you have what is his name? What is his name?
The lead singer?
Yeah, Adam. No, it's not.
Adam Levine?
Adam Levine, yeah. Adam Levine singing and then just dubbed audio from Creative Commons played over top of it.
It was so bizarre.
And that was this the Qualcomm keynote. It makes no sense because you know what they do, for the people who don't know, they make mobile chips for your phone. They make little microprocessors for your phone, and they did that. They had Big Bird, Desmond Tutu, a Rolls Royce, the Star Trek movie, Blade 2, and Adam Levine all on stage. What the hell?
It was absolutely ridiculous. And not to mention any sort of message they had about their chips and anything to do with their chips.
It was lost.
It was completely lost. I don't even know what happened there. What? This company shouldn't have even been allowed to make a keynote, in my opinion. They had no business doing any of this junk.
I don't even know why they had a keynote. There's so many other companies that...
why did they need to tell us anything? They're going to make the next Snapdragon, and that's it. That's what they do. They're Qualcomm, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my face.
All right. We're going to talk about Nvidia, and I think Lucas is going to take over on this one.
Oh, I have to... Okay, well...
You are the Nvidia guy. I'm the AMD guy.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Well, Nvidia had a keynote on day -2 of CES because for some reason CES decided to start on Sunday this year.
Which was
Tuesday.
Weird. It was Tuesday.
Well, I know.
But
Nvidia's
started
on
was
Tuesday.
2 days before.
But there were keynotes all through Sunday and Monday because, we want to jump ahead of everybody else.
Right.
But Nvidia, they shocked everybody and didn't shock everybody because... I'll start off with a non-shocking thing. I worded this terribly because I'm not an English major. And they show off Tegra 4, quad-core, A15. Okay, great. And then looks like it's pretty fast. They claimed fastest chip. And then Samsung said they have the fastest chip. Yahoo. Whatever. Yeah. But then they kind of knocked everybody off of their... They surprised people with a little handheld. They came out with, and they have no pricing, no availability or anything. But what I really like about it is with this, you can use it as a controller to stream games off of your PC to your TV in your living room. And then you can use just this little Nvidia, it's called the Nvidia Shield, and you can stream these games and play them on your TV with this controller, which is kind of great because they've been doing this big push with Steam Big Picture Mode. And we're going to talk about Steam a little bit later because they had a pretty big conference also. Or not conference,
it wasn't even a conference. It was just like buzz.
Yeah.
It was
They
like
were just
big Valve buzz.
They were just
talked about
there.
a bunch of
They
stuff.
were just there.
And like, I'll talk about it later because I have something interesting to say that you guys might not have seen about that. But we'll get to that later.
You saw Half-Life 3?
Yeah, twice.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, this little console, it's running a Tegra 4. It looks kind of goofy. I don't like the way it looks because it looks like...
It looks messed up.
I say an Xbox controller, but it just looks like a standard console controller with a screen put on top of it.
Yeah.
It looks less.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
less like of a controller that I want to use than the Xbox controller. You know,
That's
it
very
looks,
true. But
I don't know.
the functionality I love about it is just that being able to like have these super powerful games on your PC and then being able to run them on your PC, stream them to your TV to where you can be playing these games on your TV at actually great quality to where you're actually using all that power you have in your house already because yeah, it's just so nice.
Man, that's my dream too because like I want to be able to have basically put my PC wherever I want it to be.
Yeah.
And then just like have it available on whatever monitor I want to be able to use it on. Like, because there's times where I do want to sit in front of a desk,
Right.
and use a monitor there.
There's a lot of games that I'd rather do that as opposed to like.
Oh yeah,
Well,
first person shooters.
That's the biggest draw for big picture mode, which we'll talk about later. So
Yeah,
And I like because right now it's if you have a clean house, which I don't, if you have a nice TV setup and a nice stereo setup that looks nice and clean, which I don't, you don't want a full tower sitting right next to your TV.
Yeah.
You want like one of these HD PC, like your
Like a
home theater
Steambox?
PC. Like a Steambox. But no, I do not want a Steambox next to my TV for other reasons that we'll talk about later. But you have, because I was looking at Leanne Lee PC cases, which they look just like they belong with all my stereo equipment because they're like a brushed black metal. They fit right in with my Yamaha receiver.
Now I'm gonna look at.
They look like they all fit in, and you can have. But the thing is, that's not going to run the games that my standard PC is going to run because I have a full size graphics card, a full size motherboard, a just crazy heat dissipation because you need it to support everything. But
well, let me put it this way. Could you have a computer that small in your like home media rack or wherever? Like I mean, it's just a 1080p screen. It's not like you're running dual monitors or anything like that.
Yeah, but the thing is,
you can have a PC that small.
But that would like be able to fully like run those games and work well.
Yeah, but my only problem is that like if I'm trying to play a game, it's like I'm planning on building like a home theater PC that I can watch videos, go online, stream, do all that. But if I want to play a modern game like your Battlefield 3 a Far Cry 3, it's just
not up to snuff.
Exactly. You cannot run it at max settings.
What about Crysis?
It will run Crysis.
What about Crysis 2?
Probably.
Crysis 3?
Crysis 3 is another story because Crysis 3 looks amazing. It requires your GPU as the recommended max settings, which
The
Ryan's
680?
GPU, yes.
Wow.
And yours is the top of the line.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway,
Crazy.
like that's what really makes this Nvidia Shield
I'm looking at this computer case right now.
exciting to me is
I
because
posted it in the show notes.
is because of that whole being able to stream your PC games or your powerful PC games on your TV, like being able to play these things in big picture mode with that controller. It's just that's what I'm really excited about with this. Other than that, Nvidia didn't show off too much. They normally don't show anything too crazy at CES.
Yeah,
but
they had a pretty
I don't know if you guys have anything else.
keynote.
Yeah, well,
Well,
they've always been
I mean,
kind of awkward.
that guy, dude,
Their
whatever.
CEO.
Yeah, it was just like super. The way he
Is that
talked.
the Japanese guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
think they're Taiwanese, but whatever.
well, he was just super awkward the way he talked.
That's
like,
that's racist of me. Then I thought they were a Japanese company. I'm sorry.
oh, I don't know.
I'm sorry
He
to
seemed like he
all-
was American. He was probably like I think he was like of Asian like descent, but like was American. Like he talked pretty
Like American
normally.
born.
Yeah, but like it was just he talked so awkwardly. Like, and their keynote was just like didn't have a lot of spark to it.
Yeah.
And,
Well, but that's Nvidia though. They don't need that spark, unlike Qualcomm apparently.
yeah. Oh God, Qualcomm. How did that happen? That's gonna go down for years. It's just like the
that is
craziest thing.
Maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe they really achieved.
Like they got the buzz going, really. Like
Yeah.
maybe they were just like, oh, we're Qualcomm, we make chips. Like we're kind of boring, but why don't we just like do something totally insane at CES this year? But I will say the most interesting part of that is just the ability to just stream my PC from anywhere in my house to my TV.
That is beautiful.
Basically, just to whatever
Yeah.
screen I want it to, have that power, and it's perfectly capable of like you have home networks these days that have at the very least 54 megabits Wi-Fi, and if you got 802.11n, you've got 300 megabits
Right.
you're working with. That's more than capable of pushing that stream to another area of your house. So I just look forward to that. I want
Yeah.
to be able to put my PC wherever I want, where it's most convenient to just throw it at and do it like that.
Let's talk about the future of gaming.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about bringing the Virtual Boy back. How about the Oculus Rift, Ryan? Why don't you say
Sure.
something about that?
So the Oculus Rift, I can't quite remember. It might have been like a Kickstarter project
Yes.
originally. And they got funded and they have lots of money now.
They have lots of money.
And kind of building off like the concept that we saw from id Software like not too long ago, that where it had made like some sort of virtual reality headset thing that you put on, and it was, I don't know if it was 3D necessarily, but like you would put on, and they were showing a demo with Doom 3, and you could look around with your head, and it had a gyroscope and all the sensors in it to know where you were looking. The Oculus Rift seems to be a much more elegant way of doing that, a much like more less prototypey way, let's put it, than the id like virtual reality headset that we saw. And they were demoing it on one of the Verge video shows, and it literally has all of the different like methods of looking around that you could think of. You can look up and down, left and right, like roll your head from side to side,
and it tracks.
and it tracks everything about that, and it makes you feel like you're in it. And I think it's 3D maybe, but yeah, people who have talked about it that have tried it out have said like it's literally like jumping into another world,
which is insane.
which is so crazy because like I remember Nilay Patel trying out the Oculus Rift, and at one point during his like trial of it, like he reached out to actually touch something, like to think that it was, or like he pointed he's like look because I'm looking at that up there, and he pointed upwards at like these sparks that were coming down from the ceiling as if they were actually in front of him, but like he was just seeing it through this like, and that kind of just was like, oh my god, if I can put on a headset and just like go somewhere, like feel like I'm in another place, that is pretty cool.
Yeah,
like disconnect me from reality for a while. BRB guys. So
BRB.
So that was pretty incredible. Like and the best thing about it, I think, is like it's not being developed by id Software. It's not being developed by one game company. They're trying to make it an open development thing where they have an SDK available and anybody can like make a game and write inputs for it.
It's also crazy how the Oculus Rift, it came out like it was funded partially by Kickstarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I remember when that went through and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, this looks sweet." And Notch like donated 10 grand.
Yeah.
Because Notch is just loaded.
Notch. He's just Notch.
He's just Notch, and like, that is really exciting because that is the future of gaming. Granted, I would much prefer something like a Google Glasses, but I'm dreaming in the sky right now because the thing is, I like being able to have some peripheral vision, so I'm not just like looking like a retard sitting in my living room bouncing around with this full thing on. But I can imagine it looks amazing because you can block out all the sound and light from around you and just give you that perfect, like, you're in your own personal theater experience without having a personal theater in your house. Yeah.
It's just like one step closer to like the Wall-E dream of just like being able to sit in the chair, get super fat on a spaceship, and just like zone out and do something. And yeah,
that makes me forget how much I sadly enjoyed that movie and how depressed it made me for humanity.
Yeah, that's our future right there. Floating in space on little hover chairs.
God,
Wall-E?
Yep, Wall-E.
All right, let's talk about more gaming stuff. We're gonna talk about the Steambox, and this was kind of just like CES buzz, really, because Valve didn't have any presence there, but somehow they stole the show.
Yeah,
that's just what Valve does.
Somehow like Valve just like showed up and was just like, "Hey guys," and then like Steambox, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" But this is what I was gonna say, and I don't know if you guys read or heard about this. When the Steambox kind of got the buzz at CES, first person to walk to their booth and hand their card out, guess. Hottest girl in gaming, Felicia Day.
Oh my God.
Felicia Day.
Felicia Day will be affiliated with the Steambox.
She wants to be.
She will be.
Wait.
Are you kidding me? Gabe Newell is going to jump on that like white on rice. Felicia Day makes more money in doing absolutely nothing but looking hot and being nerdy than anyone else besides Gabe Newell. Gabe Newell is the only person who can look hot and be nerdy.
Wait,
Gabe Newell is.
Wait a second.
No. I want everyone to look up and see what Gabe Newell looks like.
I know exactly what Gabe Newell looks like.
Yeah, but not our listeners don't. He's so hot and nerdy. Look him up. Oh,
Gabe Newell, Newell.
Yep. He's hot and nerdy.
No.
He got a beard too. He looked crazy at CES. He looked like
he's been growing that for a while.
He looked like a different person.
He's been growing that for a while. He's looking old. He's looking real old.
Oh yeah, dude. Cause, oh my God, yeah, he looked crazy at CES. He had a crazy different beard, and yeah, he looked like a different person. But anyways,
so the Steambox, if you don't know what Steam is, it is by far the leader in PC gaming in terms of delivery. That's where you buy your PC games, and you get great deals. They have great sales, and they kind of hold all your games in one place. They have a cloud service, so you can store your saves in the cloud, and you can access them from any computer. Excuse me. Gosh, great community, kind of like the social network of gaming, PC gaming.
Yeah.
So Steam recently, a couple months ago, they pushed this new feature they have called Big Picture Mode, which is kind of meant for buying those controller-supported games and hooking your PC up to your TV. I use it and love it. And laying back, with your PS3 or your Xbox controller and playing, games like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, those multi console games that have that controller support, and you can lay back and you have, Steam is totally, was it for a while, totally reliant on the mouse and keyboard. But then they decided, there's a lot of games, really popular games like Black Ops, Dishonored, Far Cry, Oblivion, all those kind of games that a lot of people use controllers on. Why don't we release not necessarily a platform, but a delivery system for those people to, instead of having to switch from their keyboard and mouse to their controller, just use their controller. So you can flip on Big Picture Mode. And this is by far my favorite thing about it, is say you've got your whole library of games. Well, first of all, if you have a controller connected and you're using your controller to flip through your games, it only tells you the games, it divides it up so that you only see the games that have full or half controller support.
Okay.
And then you can switch to the ones that just have mouse and keyboard support if you want to.
Got it.
But so you're flipping through all your games library, and you may not see all of them, but you're only going to see the ones with controller support because you're using a controller.
Right. It knows what you're using at the time. Okay.
And then it has all those Steam features that you would get from your mouse and keyboard, just vanilla Steam, on your controller, which is awesome.
That is really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so that everyone kind of thought, oh, and then Valve was kind of talking about working on hardware, and then everyone was like, and then Big Picture Mode came out, and they thought, oh, this is what's going to happen. And so this year at CES, the Steambox kind of got the buzz, and there were a couple companies that were releasing these really, really small form factor PCs, powerful small form factor PCs that were running Linux and had Steam Big Picture Mode as like a pre-installed piece of software on them. So, you're booting this up into your TV.
Let's play all 40 games on Linux.
Well, the support will come.
It will, but...
I mean...
Put it this way. If Steam says, we want the Steambox on Linux, the developers are going to go... Because I'll tell you right now, the Steambox is going to be crazy affordable. It's not, but think about it this way. Okay, how much was your PC to build?
Oh, well, that's hard to say on my PC because it's like...
But like rough estimate. Mine cost me $2,100.
I don't have... Well...
But that is with some external hardware.
God, mine probably ended up being in the... I don't have any external hardware. I don't know, it probably...
Wait,
14 to 15 range.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I bought my card, my graphics card came out. When I bought it, it was a week after it came out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I got I have like a network card. I have a sound card.
Okay.
I bought peripherals. The only thing I didn't buy was a monitor.
Is there? Why did you need a network card?
Just cause.
Okay. Because
Gigabit Ethernet.
Wait. Is there a quick sidetrack here? Is there a reason to have a network
not
card?
anymore?
Not right now. No. I mean, like I have gigabit Ethernet support, and like it optimizes whatever bandwidth or whatever like I'm uploading and downloading. It optimizes like my internet for that, so like it'll kind of shut down some background processes and things like that.
Got it. Did you have to set a lot of that up then, or does it just automatically?
Automatically does it.
Okay.
Every time I boot my computer up, which I don't use it anymore because I use the little wireless stick right now because I have to run the cable and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I got to run it underneath the house and I don't want to get down there.
Yeah,
it's gross down there. But it would, every time my computer would boot up, that piece of software would run, it'd quickly optimize, and then like every couple minutes it would just check, and really discreet.
Okay.
But so you probably spent what, $2,000 on what you got right now? Maybe 1,800.
Is that including the monitor or no?
No.
Okay.
Probably around 15. Well,
Okay.
It's hard for me to say because the way I built mine was I got a Lenovo desktop for $300. Then I bought a graphics card, and then I upgraded the motherboard.
I'm gonna say
Steam
boxes are gonna be sub $1,200.
Oh yeah, easily. But
that's affordable though.
Yeah, it is. I think they're gonna be great. I think they're gonna be affordable for what they are. But I hope to God that Steam can get out the point that, hey, this is a lot better than the console. You
Exactly.
can do a lot
Yeah,
more.
no
And
kidding.
you can upgrade it. That's kind of what I was going to lead into. Is that you can buy an Xbox for what? Like what did Xbox run when they first came out?
It was $400 or $500.
$500. Yeah, you can buy an Xbox for $500, and then in 3 years they're going to be announcing a new one. You can buy a Steambox for, say, $1,100. They're going to be good for a few years, and then it's going to cost you $50 to update the graphics card. Or not $50, but it's going to cost you, it's going to cost you a couple $100 to update it.
They need to come across that you can do so much more with it, with the open base of it. But that is my only fear with the Steambox, is if they don't get the user base. Like, and this is another thing. Steam's just kind of like, hey, build us some Steam boxes. We're going to label them Steam boxes. We have a specific, we want them to look nice so you can have them by your TV. They do, they will make support for Windows 8, but Gabe's just got his panties in a bunch because he doesn't have
a lot of developers have their panties
a lot
in a
of people are ticked off about Windows 8 because of the Microsoft Store and everything, but it still works great just in the desktop mode.
It still works fine.
So there's an issue there, but like if they can get across how good it is for just having an everyday and a great PC at the side of your TV.
Well, we were kind of talking about this in the. Well, go ahead and finish, and then.
Like I'm just comparing it to because we're gonna have a PS4, and I say PS4 and Xbox 720 just as that is our names right now. We're having that come out this year. It'll be this year. They're gonna have to make an argument against a $400 or $500 new Xbox and a $400 or $500 PS4, which is gonna be hard to do because I'll be honest, like I'm looking at it right now, and I would love to have just the button down easy as an average person. Like I'm not saying as a power user that we are, because
as an average Joe.
Look at like your normal high school or college gamer that.
Oh, sure. They're going to go for that.
Yeah.
No, I get it. And I like
I would love to see the Steambox succeed and wipe out the consoles because it would be great for games, I think. Because,
oh, man, would that be awesome.
Like, the PC game community is just amazing with all the
not only that, but it would reduce prices on games.
Well, think about it.
Well,
because
to a point.
Think about it. No longer are you worried about buying games for certain console.
Yep.
Exactly.
You have like a common platform, and it's centered around different like ecosystems like Steam and Origin. And if Microsoft finally gets its act together, maybe they start distributing games to their Microsoft store.
Yeah, that would be.
I need to.
It would be weird, but I mean, maybe they figure it out.
After what you were saying about the 720, I need to redact a previous statement. Windows 7 codename was Longhorn, not Durango. Xbox 720's codename is Durango. So I need to redact that previous statement. Windows 7 was Longhorn. What I was going to say is the biggest pull that Valve needs to push if they want this to be a success, which I still feel like it will be a success, because I would buy one over a console just to play like my controller supported games on, because I have two reasons they need to pull that. The customizability, I don't think that's a word, but think about it. You can throw Xbox Media Center on there. You have a Boxy and a gaming platform on one box.
Anything you want it to be.
You throw Xbox Media Center on there, or even Plex if you're a Plex fan, which you shouldn't be.
Whatever.
But Xbox Media Center on there and Steam, you have an amazing platform right there. An upgradable, amazing platform. Number two is the deals that Steam has. If you are not a Steam user, like we were talking about in the pre-show, THQ, because they were almost going bankrupt, which they actually might not anymore.
They did.
Well, they went bankrupt, but then they made a ton of money from their Humble Bundle and Steam.
Still
but
bankrupt,
But
I think
they had their bundle, which was worth like $750 to $800, and it was on Steam, which was like every game they've ever created.
That with a grain of salt, though.
They had it on Steam, though. I mean, but
wait, really? 700
list price.
That's every game.
List price.
Every game plus the DLC.
Yeah, exactly.
For every game,
it's still a great deal
for like $60.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like you're getting like 15 games and the DLC for all those games for $60. That's the price of Black Ops right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you just got 15 games, which if you haven't played Company Heroes or Company Heroes 2, they're old games, but they are so much fun. Saints Row games, fun games.
Yeah.
Well, the first two weren't that fun, but Saints Row the third, super fun. Red Faction, not so much. But you get all the DLC
you got
with
it.
them.
Why
and
not?
You got
Wait,
it.
Red Faction Gorilla?
No, the newest one, like Red Faction.
Didn't they have pretty much all of them in there anyway?
Yeah, well they did.
Oh,
Yeah. But like it's like you get all these games for $60, and that's the price of one. You have 15 games plus all their DLC. Like, why would you not? Because you know what? If you went out and bought all those games and all the DLC for your Xbox, that's going to cost you like $300.
Oh yeah,
easily. Because you probably still
the thing is you're buying
like
all those individual
20,
discs.
Yeah, you're probably paying $20 to $30 for each of the discs, and then you're paying $5 for all the DLC for all those games. You're looking at spending a couple $100, but you could get them during a Steam sale.
Well, look at it this way in terms of total cost. If you're buying like an Xbox, let's say you get a new Xbox,
and you pay $500 to $600.
With the notion and knowing that you're going to have to pay $60 a game
every game, right? Unless you just like sit out on games for like months,
for a long time,
5 months on it.
You sit out the 2 years for the Call of Duty games to come out, come down to
for
$30
or $10 in price.
Whereas you get a Steambox that may be like $800-900.
I'm gonna say $1,000. I'm gonna say just $1,000. We'll just even it out at $1,000. Because they gotta have decent hardware in it.
Well,
because games are just
Gabe
getting
talked about having low, medium, and high end setups.
So we'll pick the medium. I would say it would range from $800 to $1,300. So we'll say about $1,000.
Well, let's
for like the mid range.
Let's put it this way: if Steam were to put out a $500 thing, obviously it would cost much more than $500.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? The actual cost, and they would hope to make that up with the games,
which they would.
Right, but the thing is, would that make their games more expensive in the long run? Then
I don't think so, because you're still gonna have those people like Luke and I who have Steam and we're buying games.
I don't think that they would go for a subsidized model though.
That's my point.
But they definitely won't go for a subsidized model.
Yeah.
But if they did, they wouldn't raise the game prices.
Okay.
No, they wouldn't.
Well, yeah.
Maybe they'd have fewer sales.
Yeah, I could picture fewer
I could see them having fewer sales, but they wouldn't raise prices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because essentially their prices are a standard.
Yeah.
That's it. That's an industry standard what their prices are set at.
Yeah.
They would have fewer big titles on sale. Like say, the Steam winter holiday sale goes on. You're not going to see games like Far Cry on sale. You're going to see
it.
Yeah, but like the reason
if they did
if they had a subsidized version, you wouldn't have games like Dishonored or Far Cry or games that came out this year that did amazing. They wouldn't go on sale, or if they did, they'd be like 20% off or 10% off, as opposed to like 40 or 50%.
Yeah.
One more thing, the other really nice thing about like a Steambox, in which this is why I know we were going to have like a lot of people that are going to be mad because I'm just hating on Linux tonight, but you get the Windows 8 version, there's tons of competition on Windows 8 for different games. Like you can go to Amazon. Like I've gotten games before on Amazon.
For sure.
The DRM pisses me off on Amazon because it's kind of a pain. You have to download their software to set it up.
They have DRM'd Amazon?
Yeah,
games?
Amazon DRM.
Like I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, you can buy downloaded. You can download
digital downloads. Yeah.
Once you download it and play it, it's okay, but it's just annoying that you have to download their software to verify the game once you download it.
But then you have Origin.
You have Origin. You have that. You have Uplay.
Don't say Uplay. Don't just.
There's just
take that back.
There's a ton of ways. There's many more ways to digitally get.
Oh, for sure.
Software on.
I have a feeling that that whole Linux thing is more of a rumor than anything. You know what I see?
No, it's happening.
But it's going to happen.
But you know what I see?
It was happening.
But you know what I see though is I see a lot of these manufacturers saying, "Let's put it out on Windows 7." Bypassing Windows 8, I see Windows 7 as being a more viable option, to where it is this heavily skinned Windows 7 that is just like you can switch from like the Steam web browser to like Steam.
Actually, I have a good theory.
Unless you have like a keyboard or something.
I have a completely off the wall thing to think about here. What if they had a heavily skinned version of Windows 8 that was all like gamepad supported?
Which is totally viable.
That would be totally viable.
You could make that happen.
That'd be easy.
Like I'm saying, block the desktop because you wouldn't want a desktop.
No, not at all. But you'd have IE10.
Make all of the apps Metro style.
Now here's the question though: would they release a controller with it?
Well, you'd have to give a controller with. Unless you're just going to use an Xbox controller or a PS3 controller.
Because I could see them putting Bluetooth in it for PS3 controller support. I can also see if they're going to put Windows 8 on it, I can see them talking to Microsoft and saying, put Xbox controller support in this.
Yeah.
Because essentially, your Xbox controller is this weird, really strange, like 2.4 gigahertz wireless network.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. Yeah. It's like your generic.
But you can get the adapter.
Well, right. Yeah, but like I could see them, since they're saying, you know what, we're going to buy, tens of thousands of copies of Windows 8 to like OEM copies of Windows 8 to put on our devices. If you let us use your like proprietary wireless network, so we can connect Xbox controllers for.
But actually, the other thing I'm just thinking about now is the big key with this is Microsoft actually letting them do all this, because right now in Metro they wouldn't let you get into there.
And I get the feeling that Microsoft is going to want to be greedy.
They would want like, that 30% cut in there.
Well, not only that,
they'd want the Windows Store availability.
They're just going to be like, no, sorry, we've got this Windows Store thing now. We want to do things through there.
I think if they were to do that, then Steam would have to go and be authorized by the Windows Store. It would have to be authorized by the Windows Store.
I think they'd keep pushing the Linux thing, and
but like if they were to go to Windows 8 as a base platform, then Valve would have to cave and make Steam authorized by the Windows Store.
But think about
because Microsoft wouldn't ship out devices that had Steam as a native app on the device.
But think about it this way: long term, Microsoft doesn't play well with Valve. And doesn't
for sure.
I guess my point is they kind of almost have to play well with Valve, because although this Linux thing is somewhat of a joke now, like
where else are people getting PC games on Windows
Windows
platform?
I know. I'm saying, but like this Linux thing is so much of a joke now. But if Microsoft starts slighting Valve, all of a sudden they're saying, "Hey, Steam is moving in the long term to this Linux."
And I have a feeling
model, like develop for Linux, and they tell developers this.
You guys,
it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, everything is available on Linux now.
You guys can disagree with me, and Lucas might, but I think the Steambox in 2 years is going to be gigantic, and it's going to really put the fire under Microsoft's balls.
The Linux Steambox?
Just a Steambox. I don't care.
The Steambox in general.
It's going to put the fire under Microsoft's balls to make a better Xbox. Because the PS3 has something going for it.
Yeah.
It has Blu-ray going for it. And it has such better like network, like home network features going for it, that I think the PS4 is going to be all right.
Yeah.
But the Xbox doesn't have that. Me trying to connect like my external hard drive, which is connected to my Windows network, up to my Xbox is just like
no.
It makes me want to tear my hair off. But when I boot up my brother's PS3 and I'm like, oh, I need to hop on and look at my network and see what videos are available on there. They're like, hey, here's this hard drive on Nick's desktop. Do you want to check out the videos on it? Hell yeah, PS3, I do.
Xbox.
And then Xbox is like, oh, well, this doesn't really work with that.
Which is hilarious.
And I'm like, it's a home group. I'm on the Windows home group.
Which is hilarious because it's the same goddamn company. Like,
and it's I'm on the Windows home group.
Why? You make the Xbox, you make Windows. Why can't they talk to each other better? What the hell?
Ready for my Jerry Seinfeld impression?
Yeah.
What's the deal with all these Windows products?
And oh God, this gets back to that core of Microsoft's problem is these fiefdoms where they have stuff that's and
you know what? Okay, yeah, exactly. We talked about this so many podcasts ago, but it's like, all right, Microsoft, you're gonna have all these divisions. Don't make them hate each other, because there's so many divisions of Microsoft that just hate each other.
Yeah.
Like Windows and Xbox, they don't get along. That's the death of Kin right there.
Yeah.
It's because Kin was its own entity and they were just like, F Windows Phone.
Yeah.
And it killed themselves. But regardless, I think the Steambox is going to be a huge success. Regardless of whether it's on Linux or Windows, it's going to be a giant success because all they have to do, I know you're listening, Gabe Newell, you and Samsung sitting together listening to our podcast.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Market it. Market those cheap games. Say, hey, you're going to spend a little bit of money on this Steambox, but guess what? Come summer, come winter, come fall, come spring, every season we've got a huge sale, and you're going to buy lots of games from us and not spend a lot of money. But then you're going to realize you did spend a lot of money because you bought a lot more games than you expected to. Like every Steam user suffers.
You know what's the one very douchey thing they could do to make it a huge success? Exclusively release Half-Life 3 on the Linux Steambox.
I would, Gabe Newell, if you do that, I will cut all the fat off your body.
By the way, I just looked at a picture of Gabe Newell that The Verge put up from their interview with him. He kind of looks like Santa Claus almost now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like with a salt and pepper beard.
Yeah.
But Gabe Newell, I will cut all the fat off your body. You're still hot and you have no fat on your body, but I'll cut all the fat off of it. I'm going to, with a really dull spoon, if you release Half-Life 3 to Steambox only. I will find a workaround.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will.
Oh God, it would be there instantly.
Put it this way: if they were to, we're going to talk about Half-Life 3 for a minute here, because I don't know. Lucas, I may have told you this already. Ryan, I don't know if I told you this. There's a very good reason that Half-Life 3 has never been released.
Why?
And I don't know if you know this, but the Valve Employee Handbook was released recently, a year ago, maybe 6 months ago.
Okay.
Valve employees are allowed to work on whatever they feel like working on. So this is a very true story.
That is true.
A Valve developer can go, I don't ever feel like working on Team Fortress ever again. And if that Valve is the head of the Team Fortress, if he is the head of a division and says, I don't ever want to work on a Team Fortress game again, a Team Fortress game will never get made.
Wow.
Because if they don't want to work on a game, they don't have to. If they want to work on a game, if they want to work on what they're passionate about, they can. But biggest thing is, Black Mesa Source was a game that Valve released for free recently to test out their new Black Mesa engine.
Okay.
Half-Life is based on the Black Mesa engine. Well, it was originally the Half-Life engine. Is now the Black Mesa
Black Mesa was known. Okay. I thought that was a separate company though. They just said, "Hey, we're gonna," because it was built off of.
Well,
I thought that was the Source.
It was a Source game, yeah.
But it's based off of the new engine. This was the first official thing based off of the new Half-Life.
It was based off the Source engine.
So it's like the updated
the Source engine.
Okay.
And when Black Mesa Source came out, Gabe Newell happened to have an interview, and he said, "We're waiting for the new Source engine, and we'll see what comes." He's such a douche. Gabe Newell is such a tease. He's such a cock tease when it comes to Half-Life 3. He's just, because look at this. We've got Team Fortress 3 that could come out. We've got Left 4 Dead 3 that could come out.
Yeah.
We've got Valve 3 that could come, Half-Life 3 that could come out.
Yeah.
There's 3 3s that could come out, and we got E3 coming out in 2013. Conspiracy theory.
You know what? I'm not even pissed that Half-Life 3 didn't come out, because you know what? Believe it or not, folks, we were never promised Half-Life 3. We were promised Half-Life 2 Episode 3, though, and that never happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I at least got that, and that was the end of the Half-Life series, I would be okay. But I got no closure.
As long as they finish it. They have to close it.
I got no closure at all to that whole
You know what
series.
I want? I want Team Fortress 3. Honestly,
you know what
I want?
If I were
to get any of those 3 games, I want Team Fortress 3. Because Team Fortress 2 is an awesome game, but think of the things they could do with Team Fortress 3.
Do you want to know what I want? A f***ing sundae.
What does that mean?
Ice cream sundae.
Thanks for listening. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to hit you guys up with some music, and we're coming back with the beer of the week. Time for the beer of the week segment. Again, apologies for how long that lasted, but we did warn you. So I'm going to start things out this week. Last week, our winner was Arcadia Ale Lockdown, correct?
Yeah, Lockdown Scotch Ale.
Yes.
It was delicious.
It was great. This week, like we said last week, we gave ourselves a limit, and it was like an $8 limit. It had to be a kind of mass-produced, cheaper beer. Because we are big into the craft brews, and we decided to change things up a bit. So I went with Bass Brewing, which is one of the oldest commercial brewing companies in the world. And I specifically went with, they have a pre-packaged black and tan where you have 3 pale ales and 3 stouts. Now, the original black and tan was actually created by Bass. Their Bass Ale, which is like their staple. That's what they've been brewing the same forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
And then their stout. So this is the original black and tan, which I hand poured myself. It settled a little bit more than I was hoping, but you can see the gradation from top to bottom, the ale being at the bottom and the stout being at the top.
Yeah.
You can
I'll
see
just
that.
say-
That's not bad. As bad as the first one separated, though.
My
That's pretty
first
good.
experience of black and tan was at B-Dubs, and they're really good at pouring them there.
Well, they have a pouring spoon.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I
They
did
have
not,
all the
I
stuff to
didn't,
do it.
I didn't bring my pouring spoon because I didn't expect to
Yeah.
bring this week. So if
But
I would have known, I would have brought my pouring spoon.
I'm just saying
And these
that
would-
because it's really cool to
Yeah.
see, like, and you kind of feel like the difference in taste.
if
too,
I
also.
had my pouring spoon, these would have been perfect. I'm gonna take a drink of this so that I mix them together a little bit more, so you get the better taste.
Okay.
So
Got it. Oh boy. This may be the first black and tan I've ever had.
really, this is the.
Wow.
It's a good thing it's the Bass because this is the classic black and tan. You got to take a bigger drink than that
Okay.
though. It has to be like a big enough gulp to where the bottom is getting up into your mouth.
Oh. That's good. That's really tasty.
That's the drink you got to take right there.
Yeah, that's good. It
You
reminds
get-
me of Bass for sure, but yeah, that's pretty good.
After it's lingered in your mouth for a little while, it's almost got that stouty aftertaste.
Yeah, it does.
Like if I were to blindly drink that, like I would almost think it was light at first. But
That's what they're trying to go.
Yeah.
Because
First, yeah.
well, think about it when you drink it. That ale
yeah.
is kind of shooting under the stout into your mouth, and
Right.
then that stout is following behind
Yeah,
it.
it comes because now, like at the end of it, even now, like I feel more and more stout taste in my
Yeah.
mouth as I'm like waiting this out.
Because
Like,
when you're drinking something, you're not getting the top of it first. You're actually getting more of the middle to the bottom of it first. Because when you tip it back,
yeah,
you've got that like convection current.
right.
Science.
You
Mark
are
this.
just
Science, bitches.
no.
That wasn't worth. Bitches is okay.
Okay,
we can say
bitches.
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 But science, bitches. You have convection currents. Convection currents. Why are you moaning?
Nothing. Just keep going.
I'm not touching you.
My
Shouldn't
head's
moan.
exploding right now.
Convection currents. All right, that's the Bass. That's the Bass Black and Tan, the original. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
All right.
Lucas.
So, well, this week, me and Ryan, I think we probably picked beer of the week, just because I like to brag
I'm not
about
voting
that.
for it.
But we both picked Shock. I'm gonna like right now ruin Ryan's thunder and say
No, you can't do that. You're not bringing it this week.
I know I'm not bringing it, but I'm talking about it because we both bought it.
We both got the same beer to bring for beer of the week.
Let's just say
Like,
we
without knowing
got
it.
a beer that
Is out of season.
starts with S and ends with P, and it's 2 words.
and it rhymes with cock top. It does.
It does.
And your beer rhymes with ass.
Sure.
Anyway,
Well, ass is part of the word.
I got a beer that normally tastes like ass, but instead it's platinum because I bought this just for drinking while I was sitting here.
It's robot ass.
Wow, this is just going downhill. But yeah,
It's been a long episode.
I brought Bud Light Platinum. It's a lot better than regular Bud Light, which
Which is saying something.
I really don't like regular Bud Light. I'll be honest.
Okay.
But I have never had Bud Light Platinum, and it is much better. I don't know. I'm enjoying it as a drinking beer, but as a let me reword this. Not as a standard TechBuzzed drinking beer, as a TechBuzzed going to the bar that
sitting
doesn't
on the
have
porch,
a ton of specialty brews, like your standard average Joe bar that their heaviest beer is
Bush heavy.
Yes.
Okay. I'll say something about this real quick. This doesn't taste like a light beer.
No, not well.
No, not at all.
Not necessarily. No.
Like when I close my eyes and I drink this, it doesn't taste like a light beer to me, and it's like, but almost in a not great way. Like in the fact that it's like, it's just kind of way crazy and weird. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it almost
there's something about that beer that makes it taste off.
It tastes like artificial almost.
It just tastes off.
It's platinum, dude.
It tastes like platinum. It tastes like metal or something. Not really, but it's just like,
doesn't taste like
it
metal,
tastes. There's
but
something artificial to this that's like very funky and strange. Now that I should note, this is a higher like alcohol volume than
Regular
Bud Light, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what part of what makes it platinum.
At 6.9. Oh.
No, 6.0.
6.0.
Even worse.
So yeah, interesting. Bud Light Platinum,
Better than Bud Light.
better than Bud Light.
This is the wrong week
and
to have
that's
Bud
saying
Light.
something.
All right, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
here we go. I think most of us have had this to drink tonight as we've been going through the podcast. But I will open up another one here in case. I think, Nick, maybe you didn't try it.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the Shock Top Honeycrisp Apple Wheat. And I literally bought this because our one parameter for this week was it has to be under $8. So this was $7.99.
Yep.
And I literally just bought it because I was looking at the beer section and I didn't want to get something like a Bud Light or, you know, PBR or whatever kind of light beer like that. And I saw the Shock Tops and they just so happened to be within that price range. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting this beer to be as good as it is. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's incredible. Like, it's not going to blow my pants off.
Can I just say, if you would have brought PBR bottles, I would have just
It's actually
laughed.
pretty good. You would have left. I mean, you know
What if I
mean.
brought a keg?
We would be here for a long time.
That happened to me before, and when I had a PBR keg, it was warm, and I cried inside.
Oh.
But anyway.
The crazy thing about this beer is it almost doesn't taste like beer. It's
No.
pretty much
It's a cider.
tastes like apple cider.
It's a cider.
Honeycrisp Apple Wheat is pretty much a cider from Shock Top, except not quite, but man, does it taste appley and cidery.
Doesn't taste appley and cidery.
And it's good. It's like tasty. It's
I really like this beer. I'll be honest. I'm quite sad that Ryan brought it because I would be aping the out of this right now.
to be honest, it's almost maybe a little too sweet for me.
You might want to mark that.
What
Lucas just said.
I missed it completely. I wasn't paying attention, but I'll find it later.
I've been swearing a lot today.
It is a little sweet. It's on the sweet end of, like, even for ciders, it's got that good like sweetness to it.
That's Shock Top though.
That is Shock Top. Yeah.
Hey, are we ready to vote?
I'm
Ryan,
ready. I'm
you're
ready
the-
to vote.
You're the first to vote.
Yeah, because I won last time.
Well, you're the first to vote because you never vote first.
Yeah.
And you always vote last.
That's true. I do always vote last. I'm gonna work my way from the bottom up. I'm not gonna vote for Bud Light Platinum.
Aww.
I'm sorry.
Lucas, I don't think anyone's voting for Bud Light Platinum. But you didn't really bring Bud Light Platinum.
I really
So
did.
you're good.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
To be fair, you didn't really bring
I
Bud
tried
Light
to
Platinum.
push it, but it didn't work.
We happened to both bring the same beer by accident.
Cock top.
Cock Top.
Hey, I like Shock Top.
I am actually going to pick the Black and Tan, believe it or not, because
Uh-oh.
the beer I picked for me when I'm judging this beer, I would think about this beer in terms of like, and by the way, we picked a beer that was kind of like the beer that you could drink, a few of. It's the less than $8 6-pack. Like I can have a few of these. I don't know if I could have a ton of these. Like I could have a couple of these because they're tasty. Like but at the end of the day, this Shock Top Honeycrisp apple wheat is almost too sweet for me. And I'm not sure if I can handle it. So believe it or not, I'm not voting for my own beer, and I'm voting for the Black and Tan.
I'm going to vote second because I know what Nick's going to vote for.
I'm glad you're voting second, actually, because I want to bring something up when I place my vote.
I'm going to vote for the Shock Top because I really love this beer. I'm a big cider fan, and that is kind of why it really got me excited. It is a little bit on the sweet side, and I guess maybe I could see that after I had a ton of them, but I don't know. I really like this. The Black and Tan from Bass is pretty good, but I don't know. The first Black and Tan I ever had was actually done with, I think, Bloom or
no, it couldn't. Well, it would have been black and blue. Otherwise, it would have had.
Yeah,
to have
it wasn't
been,
a black and blue.
It would have had to have been Bass and Guinness. Would be my guess.
That could have been it, and that was really good.
But
I'm gonna go with the Shock Top, and yeah,
I am voting for the Black and Tan, but I have. Not because it's the beer that I brought. I actually have a really good reason on why I'm not voting for Shock Top Honeycrisp Apple Wheat, because it's delicious. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not a good beer.
It's not a beer.
It's not a good beer. It doesn't
taste like the beer to me. Like,
well, okay. I can see that argument, yeah.
Let me real quick. Let me put it this way. Even in terms of ciders, this is still so sweet to me.
Yeah.
Like this still stays.
I like real tart ciders, but what I'm saying is when I drink this Bass Black and Tan, I'm drinking a beer, and I enjoy it because it's a beer. When I drink Shock Top Honeycrisp Apple Wheat, it tastes like I'm drinking apple juice. Like when I sit down and I want a beer, I don't want some fruity mark this bullshit. Mark it again beer, because
it doesn't need to be marked. I think is okay.
I don't know about that.
We love our.
Well, I just marked it twice just in case.
But like, when I drink a beer, I want a beer. I don't want Honeycrisp Apple Wheat Fruity Berry Deluxe. Yeah. I want a Bass Ale mixed with stout. Like I love Shock Top Honeycrisp Apple Wheat, but I don't like it as a beer.
I can see that argument. I guess I just wasn't voting on it in that way, but because I just
don't like it. I don't like it as a beer.
No, that's perfectly
I like it.
fine.
I don't like it as a beer. That was kind of the point I wanted to bring up. We, however, have to pin it up against the Lockdown.
Yes, we do.
So let's do it.
Let's have a sip. The Lockdown was the beer of the week from last week. It's a Scotch Ale from Arcadia Ales in Battle Creek, Michigan. And I just had a sip of it again, and oh my god!
I know what's winning this week. I think it's going to be unanimous.
Yeah, that is a really good Black and Tan, though. The more it mixes too, I don't want to reach all the way across.
Okay,
here we go. I know what's winning this week. I think everyone knows what's winning this week.
I don't know.
Cast your votes. Text 1 to 221-221-221-AB.
Yeah, I'll go first real quick.
The Lockdown.
I'm going to vote for the Lockdown, the 121234ABC.
That's texting 1, and then text 2 to 221-221-22AB.
I messed it up.
Ryan, go ahead and vote.
But I'll explain myself a little bit here.
Go ahead.
Ryan some time, because Ryan always has a hard time here.
I do have, and I am indecisive again.
Yes,
right now.
Again. So. But
I kind of am too, because I'm going to have to vote last. And
I feel like this is an unfair comparison because the Lockdown is a more expensive beer.
But
it's
at the same time, that's kind of the reason we picked these beers this week.
That's true.
Is to show people that they can compete.
And I'll be honest, the second time I had the Black and Tan, I actually liked it a little bit better than the first time I tried it. I don't quite know why, but I really like that Lockdown. More. It mixed more, but well, another thing I like about the Black and Tans though is when you have them really discreet, you feel that rush of the
the stout coming in.
You feel the rush of the different beers hitting you at different times, almost like a Jaeger bomb. Like
sure,
it makes it kind of interesting
because they mix in your mouth as opposed to mixing in the glass,
which it's difficult for us to do here. But
it's a completely different effect. If I were to just like take both the bottles and pour them in like I was pouring, a shot or a Long Island or something,
right?
As opposed to like actually separating them and then they mix in your mouth, because then you're getting hit, because your tongue is separated in your different tastes, so you're tasting that bitter of the pale ale, but you're also tasting that like richness of the stout on different parts of your tongue, as opposed to when they're mixed together, you just have that all one flavor.
Yeah,
it's really interesting to taste it, a black and tan, when it's perfectly separated.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's really interesting.
But and then the lockdown, like what we said last week, is just it's a really kind of smooth beer. I want to hand it back here actually.
Yeah.
Because I honestly kind of forgot what I was trying to say.
The lockdown is a beautiful beer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like that. I say caramely flavor to it almost.
It is. It's cooked sugar. So it's
really I really like that lockdown. It's a great choice by Ryan last week, and he had another great choice this week, but didn't quite make it.
So Lucas, you're going lockdown. Ryan,
I am. Oh man,
I'm still undecided too.
This is tough.
Am I gonna have to pour another black and tan?
No, you won't. I just need to.
Because there's a little bit in both the bottles, so I can pour a smaller glass.
Okay.
I'll pour a smaller glass quick, and you keep deciding.
All right. So here's my basic thought process that I'm going through right now, because I still don't even know which one I'm voting for. Like Lucas said, lockdown has a bit of a caramely thing going for it. It's more caramely than I remember from last week. Like,
I'll agree with you there.
When I had it last week, and I don't know what changed between last week and this one, but like it changed. It tastes darker than I remember.
Yeah, it really does. You're right.
Which is kind of strange, but at the same time, lockdown has more bite to it than the Bass Ale. Which makes sense, because Bass Ale is like mostly ale, and I'm waiting until Nick mixes a little more here to just kind of.
This is a tiny one.
That's still good though. I want to make sure I'm making the right decision here, because this is very, very, very important. So Bass Ale, let black and tan is more of like a smooth drink, a smooth beer.
Well, yeah, I guess
you know what I mean. It's just more of a rounded.
I think the lockdown is a little bit more for an experienced palate.
Yeah.
Where the black and tan is more for getting you into it, I feel, because just of the way they mix and kind of go at you.
Right.
Because, like you said, that light and that stout kind of coming together. But, yeah.
This is really tough, you guys. Like, I am still struggling. But I think I'm going to actually have to pick the lockdown, cuz I like a beer that has, and this is just me, Bass Ale I could drink quite a bit of. And party with that. Like, I could down a lot of that Bass Ale black and tan. But Lockdown has a lot more complexity going to it, and a lot more bite, and it for some reason it tastes darker than last week, but that it doesn't detract from the fact that I still really am digging it. So I think I'm gonna go with the Lockdown again.
Even though my vote doesn't count, I'm still gonna take a little bit of time on deciding this.
Sure.
Just because for like,
hey, we got to make this podcast.
Like, exactly
we got to make our time.
3
here.
hours.
Yeah.
Right? but for the beer's sake.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I don't want to just like be like, well, it doesn't matter what I vote for. Like, I want to spend some time and vote regardless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a few seconds here and weigh out my options, but I will converse well.
Okay.
I will talk about each of them. I'm gonna take a quick sip of the. Don't do that ever again. That should be bleeped out right there. I'm gonna take a quick sip of the black and tan here, and now this is the second one that I poured.
Right.
This has a little bit more black than it does tan.
Okay.
Do you want to describe that some more?
No. And I kind of like a little bit more stout than I do ale.
Yeah.
Just because, in my mind, even though it's probably not very true in most people's eyes, I think it goes down a little bit smoother, but I'm used to drinking stouts.
Yeah.
And I'm used to drinking those heavier, like, higher alcohol percentage beers.
If this conversation was in the after hours,
it would get dirty.
It would get real bad real quick.
Yeah.
But I think I've just made my decision on Ryan's last point, and that the complexity of the lockdown it just far surpasses any black and tan, even the original. And so I'm just going to save us some time and effort and vote for the lockdown, because I know I'm going to vote for it in the end anyways.
Okay.
Do you?
And I think that your point of the complexity and like the amalgamation of flavors is just like boom compared to like, don't get me wrong, if you have the opportunity, it's a 6-pack of Bass. 3 are stout, 3 are ales. They have the mixing instructions on the side. If you have like a soup spoon instead of a mixing spoon, if you have a soup spoon instead of a mixing spoon, it works perfectly. A real wide, like, circular spoon as opposed to like an ellipse. Get it. Seriously, it's like $8. Just get it.
It's a fun activity, and
it tastes good.
And you can
it's cheap.
You can take it to parties and say, "Hey, where can I go mix my beer?"
And then you can get a glass.
Because I am that sophisticated of a man.
Well, hey, single dudes, get this.
Yeah.
You walk into a party, you go in the corner, you've got a pint glass, you pour yourself a black and tan, you get it separated, and you walk to the middle of the party and go, "Oh, my beer is 2 different colors? How did I do that?" And then the ladies are like, "Oh, boy, how'd you do that?
How'd you do that?
How'd you do that, boy?
Hey, boy, you want to separate my colors?"
Exactly. And we finish on that. There will be no after hours this week like last week. However, we're probably thinking about one next week. So
why not?
Check out for that. We're going to say the lockdown, 2 weeks running now. Beer of the week. First 2 weeks of the new year is a running trend so far for TechBuzzed. But I think next week I'm going to dethrone it.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to spend a lot of money to dethrone the lockdown next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend a lot of money.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to have a good challenge for it, but I'm kind of scared. I'll be honest. Like, you've got a dang good beer next week.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I was going to get the other one, but I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to do that.
That would be cruel.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you about it later, Ryan.
Okay, all right.
But we're gonna get out of here. Hopefully, we'll have an after hours next week because we haven't had one for the New Year's. So
yeah, not quite yet.
My name's Nick Smock. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_Smock.
My name is Ryan Spletzer. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan Spletzer.
My name is Lucas Ritter, and you can find me on Twitter at DepressedWasCool, but please don't follow me.
Just don't. TechBuzzed. This is where you can find us. If you want to listen to the MP3 versions of our podcast, techbuzzed.libsyn.
Wait. Hang on.
Oh, that's right. We do have
something.
We did change something.
Yes.
And Ryan, why don't you let us know about that?
So as you may or may not know from listening to our podcast, we are currently working on a website.
And
very diligently.
I wouldn't say diligently, but in these next few weeks,
the two smart people in the podcast are working on a website.
I'm going to be busting my ass on getting this website ready.
Yes, Nick is working on the design right now, and then once the design is finalized, we're going to be working on coding it up. But in the meantime, techbuzz.com, I was like, duh, we don't need to tell people to go to some crazy complicated URL. Just go to techbuzz.com at the moment and you'll find all of our posts,
MP3
and MP3s and whatever else that's in the RSS feed at the moment. eventually TechBuzzed.com will be an actual website.
And it will have pretty much everything.
Yeah.
It'll have everything all aggregated into one.
And maybe some fun
area.
new stuff that we haven't announced yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we are thinking about maybe doing some features, some written features by the individuals of TechBuzzed.
I'll do stupid things.
Other than that, that's where you can find our MP3s. Can you find our videos there or no?
The videos
are there
the
as well?
videos are embedded in the post as well.
Great.
So our videos for after hours or then just the YouTube videos and the players for MP3s and everything is all at techbuzz.com.
Techbuzz.com.
Yep.
However, we are looking for some questions, some tech related questions.
Yes.
Sarah, Lady SARS, not an STD, sent us one last week. We'd like to hear some more.
Wait. SARS isn't an STD?
No, it's not, Lucas. I don't have to correct you on that again. But you can send us some questions at 3 different places. Number 1, at TechBuzzed on Twitter, twitter.com/TechBuzzed. Number 2, Facebook.com/TechBuzzed. Hey, like us on Facebook because you know what? We're trying to get the likes.
Yeah.
Trying to get you guys likes.
We do it all for the likes.
We do it all for the likes and the tweets.
And the
But like us
And
on
the
Facebook. And the walls. I mean, we do it for the walls. Also, we have an email address, which I'm still trying to get techbuzz@gmail.com. How about this? Let's start an email campaign.
Yes.
Start emailing techbuzz@gmail.com and tell them to sell their email address for $1 to us.
Currently, techbuzz@gmail.com is owned by somebody
$1. That's
else.
pretty tough. I don't know if I can pony up 33 cents for you guys.
I'll just pony up the whole $1 then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Dang.
big spender.
You gonna buy me a taco on the way home yet?
Big spender. Okay, but email techbuzzpodcast@gmail.com and tell them to give up their email address.
So how about we talk about since
hold
we're in
on,
the end
let me
here,
finish. But if you want to email us questions, you can reach us at techbuzzedpodcast@gmail.com. And now Lucas can talk.
I'm just going to say, just following the trend of this entire episode so far, how about we talk about how it is to look at Gmail on a Windows phone?
I don't want to do that right now. That sounds like an after hours topic.
I'm really just messing with you.
Okay. Well, if you do want to watch our YouTube channel and you don't want to go to techbuzz.com, which I don't understand why, but we are also at youtube.com/techbuzzpodcast. And for whatever reason, if you don't want to go to techbuzz.com and listen to the MP3 versions of our podcast, you can go to techbuzzed.libsyn. That's LIBSYN.
TechBuzz.com just redirects to Libsyn.
Oh, okay. Well, then go there. Never mind.
TechBuzzed is the next YouTube.
It's no. You know what's... I can't even say it with a straight face. You know what's cooler than YouTube? TechBuzzed.com. Imagine Justin Timberlake whispering that in your ear. You know what's cooler than $1 billion? TechBuzzed.com.
We used to be called the Tech Buzz.
But then we changed our name. Because Justin Timberlake told us.
Drop the the.
He's like, drop the the. It's cleaner. And then he said, you know what's cooler than YouTube.com? TechBuzzed.com.
By the way, new Justin Timberlake music coming out.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Is it better than Sexy Love Songs or whatever the name of his last album was?
Know.
Because whoever named that album was
I don't know. All I know is there's new Justin Timberlake on the way.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
You know what? Justin Timberlake was great
show.
in The Social Network.
Yes, he was.
He was.
He played what? Sean, what's his last name?
Sean something.
Oh, God. Hey, hold on. Before we end this podcast here.
Sean Napster. That's literally what I looked up. Sean
Parker. That's what it is. He played Sean Parker, and not only does he look like a young Sean Parker, but he played a great young Sean Parker.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurial Sean Parker. Hey, we're TechBuzzed!
Hey.
Besties! Wrong show.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.